You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Well, now on Fox 17 News This Morning, Metro Police say that a 13-year-old boy has died and his sister is hurt. This is after a shooting near a Bellevue Park. We're going to have updates there on that investigation. Plus, we are learning more about a double homicide that happened in Laverne. The charges that the suspects involved are now facing.
And the good times keep rolling for the weather, at least for now. Going in toward the weekend, everything begins to flip-flop back into a stormy pattern we'll look at in your forecast.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning, just after 4 a.m. here on this Thursday, May the 30th. I'm Justin McFarland. We do begin with developing story out of Bellevue. That is where Metro Police claim that a 13-year-old boy was killed and his sister was hurt. This is all happening after a shooting took place. Now, police say that 15-year-old is now in custody. 15 years old, now in custody as a result of that shooting that took place in the parking lot of the Red Caboose Park in Bellevue. He has been identified as DeAnthony Asciofio. They say that this is all because of a fight that broke out between girls in the park a little before 8 o'clock last night, and then other girls joined the fight. Now, during that fight, they say someone pulled out a gun and a brother and sister were hit. They claim that 13-year-old boy was taken to a nearby hospital, and that's where he died. He has been identified as Aiden Hayes. The 16-year-old girl was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Now, Don Aaron with the Metro Police Department gave this particular reaction right after the shooting.
This is a bad night for Nashville. To have two teens, brother and sister, 16 and 13, being the victims of violent crime, and the 13-year-old is deceased.
The suspect is now being charged with criminal homicide and attempted homicide. Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell responded to the shooting last night, saying in part that my heart breaks tonight for the families who experienced firsthand the tragedy of gun violence in a park in Bellevue. The mayor went on to say, I am grateful to first responders who immediately rendered aid, as well as the Metro police officer who quickly apprehended a possible suspect. Again, all of the victims involved, both the person who died, the other person who was hurt, and the person who was arrested, all teenagers there in Bellevue. An update this morning as we now know the names of some victims of a double homicide that happened in Laverne on Tuesday. Happened at an apartment complex just off of Murfreesboro Road. Metro Police have identified two victims. They are Ramon Delgado Jr. and Aaron Smith. They say that the two adults and two 17-year-olds are now being charged with this deadly shooting. Now, one of those teens is being charged with murder. The other three suspects are being charged with making a false report. We're told that the investigation in this case is ongoing. We now know that a total of 4 tornadoes touched down in Kentucky during last weekend's severe weather outbreak. A 4th tornado was confirmed by the National Weather Service in Cumberland County. It had wind speeds up to 95 miles per hour. The agency had previously confirmed 3 tornadoes in places like Monroe, Metcalfe, and Cumberland counties. On top of that, there were several reports of straight-line wind damage along Kentucky's southern border, which of course includes us here in Middle Tennessee. So what about today? Let's get to Greg Volvis. Hopefully things have calmed quite a bit.
Well, they've been calm all week, and we continue that pattern here. For today, another great day. Countdown to humidity is on, though, your Saturday into Sunday. Humidity ramps back up, and unfortunately, with the humidity also comes a return to some rain. Scattered showers and thunderstorms can't be ruled out starting Saturday all the way through the middle of next week. So let's just take today as is, kind of like yesterday. Treat it the exact same way. Up and out the door here on May 30th. Yeah, June 1st on Saturday. And temperatures and everything else will kind of get back to a more summer-like feel. One thing to watch out for this morning, and it's not going to be everywhere, but that 6 a.m. little thing you see right there between the moon and the sun, yeah, Possibility of some fog creeping in here in the next hour or two. We'll watch out for it. Also, much cooler than yesterday morning. We're in the mid-50s all the way through 7 o'clock. Cumberland Plateau, you are in the upper 40s to right near 50 degrees. So a cooler start, but a very similar end to the day like yesterday. We'll be in the upper 70s right near 80 degrees, 75 at 11, 77 degrees at noon, and 79 at 1 p.m. If you've enjoyed the low humidity, sunshine, and great temperatures, please enjoy it one more time because things are going to be on the up and up. Taking a look here, little sneak peek shows you that weekend outlook puts us back into the 80s once again, but also brings in some storms. That'll be our focal point coming up in the next check of your forecast. Right now, we'll see how we're looking on the roadways. Justin.
Steer clear traffic at I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway. This is out there in the Antioch area. You're moving along just fine out there near the Tanger outlets. No big holdups here so far this morning, but it is early. We do not have anything that's slowing you down on the roadways. As a matter of fact, checking with Metro Police, they don't have anything. They're working overnight at all. So we're doing really, really well. We'll check in with other things happening around town coming up in the next few minutes. Developing right now, Metro Police are investigating a fire and an assault at a Nolensville Pike business. Now, police say the fire crews took a look at a situation happening at a clothing store in the 4700 block of Nolensville Pike yesterday afternoon. You can see it right there. They say that several people called police to report an assault. Then a few minutes later, they received more calls, this time reporting a fire at the exact same address. When they arrived, they found smoke and flames coming from the bathroom of the business. Metro Police are still searching for the assault suspect. Also, the cause of the fire is still under investigation, but you can see it has left quite a bit of damage there on Nolensville Pike. A New York jury will resume deliberations today in the hush money trial of former President Donald Trump. Well, happening today, jury deliberations will resume in former President Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial. Now, the panel of 12 New Yorkers deliberated for around 4.5 hours yesterday after receiving jury instructions from the judge. Then they came back to ask the judge to repeat the instructions and to play testimony from 2 of the witnesses again, David Pecker and Michael Cohen. Now, the jury is tasked with determining whether the former president is guilty of 34 counts of falsifying business records related to an alleged hush money payment before the 2016 presidential election. Mr. Trump has denied any wrongdoing.
I think there should be restrictions to short-term rentals.
In Operation Crime and Justice, more crimes are now linked to short-term rentals. The latest involves a 15-year-old shot at a party on Ellingston Place. This happened on Tuesday night. Now, according to Metro Police, the call came in just after midnight at a trendy apartment complex there on Ellingston Place. Police say that an 18-year-old woman told detectives that she and a group of friends rented the apartment through a short-term rental company for something called a glow party. But the party got out of hand, and officers say a fight broke out and a 15-year-old boy was shot. Now, he was taken to Vanderbilt Medical Center in critical condition. Neighbors say this is not the first time they've had to deal with unruly guests.
Half of the building or a third of the building is Airbnb. There's sketchy people walking around. There's parties all the time. Beer cans left around in the hallways.
Well, just last month, a 15-year-old was arrested, accused in a shooting at a birthday party at another short-term rental. That one was on Youngs Lane. One person died in that case. So we want to know what you think. Is the city of Nashville, Metro, doing enough to regulate short-term rentals? You can see the results on our screen right now. Pretty apparent that 84% of you are saying no, they're not doing enough. 16% of you are saying yes, they are. If you want to weigh in for yourself, you can scan the QR code right there on the side of your screen. You can also visit us on our X page. You can find us at Fox Nashville.
A cool start to our day in the upper 40s and middle 50s. A little fog to start off your day as well. Coming up in your forecast, though, we return to a rainy and humid pattern when it arrives.
Also coming up, we'll take a closer look at your drive.
The choice is easy.
7:14 is the time. Welcome back. That's a live look in Dallas, Texas this morning. That is where the lights are on across the skyline, but they are not on in many other parts of the Dallas, Texas area. As a matter of fact, according to one of their utility companies, Encore there, they've got a total of 155,000 customers that are still without power because of storms that recently rumbled through that area. And that's just one of the power companies. We understand this could be as many as 800,000 people across the state of Texas that still don't have power because of weekend storms. So we'll continue to watch that situation from Texas as they're hoping to get that power restored soon. Well, the high cost of homelessness back here in the mid-state. City leaders have pledged $50 million of pandemic relief dollars to try to address Nashville's homeless crisis. Well, they've been working at it for a few years now, but recent data shows that chronic homelessness is up by 40%. Fox 17 News' Amanda Chen sits down with the director of Metro's Homeless Services to find out exactly why this is happening.
As Nashville continues to get more people, the challenge of addressing homelessness continues to grow. Recent data showing an apparent increase in chronic homelessness may confuse many, but city leaders view it differently. The largest investment Nashville's ever made to address homelessness. It's a phrase we've been hearing for several years now. How effective do you feel this $50 million investment has been for the city?
I think overall it has been very effective. We have been able to address 4 encampments, housing 189 individuals, whether it's temporary housing options, permanent housing solutions, with a 90% success rate.
That means 90% of the folks housed have either remained connected to temporary housing or permanent housing. The funding is specifically meant to address chronic homelessness, those who have not lived in a home for at least a year. However, recent data from the Office of Homeless Services shows there's a more than 40% increase in chronic homelessness. What message would you have for folks who may view these percentage increases and don't fully understand the program and this investment that the city's been putting in?
$50 million over a 3-year time span. That is a lot of money, but it's really a drop in the bucket.
Calvin says with the data, several things have changed since she's been director.
We haven't reached a baseline in our data. Second, you're going to see more changes because we are incentivizing and paying for the Nashville Rescue Mission to enter their data into our database. And for over 10 years, that data has never been entered into our database.
Calvin adds there are more outreach workers at encampments where folks who have been living outside for more than 5 years are just now getting added to the system. She believes it'll take about 1.5 years to reach a baseline for chronic homelessness. That's when it would be fair game to talk about any increase. Coming up Thursday night on Fox 17 News, we dig into specifics on how the $50 million is being used and where we go from here. Reporting in the studio, I'm Amanda Chen, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Thank you, Amanda. 4:17 is the time. A volcano in southwestern Iceland erupted for a 5th time since December. It happened yesterday. Let's take a look if we can. There it is there. It began in the early afternoons following a series of earthquakes. According to the Iceland Weather Department there, the volcano shot lava 165 feet into the air. Think about that now. 165 feet in the air goes burning hot lava. Authorities say that the coastal town there along Iceland had to be evacuated, as many people had already been forced out of their homes because of a previous eruption. The Blue Lagoon Geothermal Spa, which is a popular tourist destination in that area, also had to be evacuated earlier in the day. The eruption so far is not impacting air travel. So out of all the things we have to worry about here in the mid-state, volcanoes, thankfully, not one of them. Greg Bob is here with a look at some of the things that we are watching out for, of course.
Very true, and if we did, we'd be in a whole world of something.
I don't even want to think of, we got enough problems here.
I'll tell you, yesterday was so nice that we're just going to do it again. We'll just make yesterday today and just keep it rolling, roll it up again and just kind of rewind it. Another cool start here. Temperatures in the upper 40s in the Cumberland Plateau, 50s for most of us here across Middle Tennessee and into southern Kentucky, though. So not a big shock to the system. Taking a look, 2 more rain-free days today and tomorrow. Active for the weekend, but nothing to worry about. We're not worried about anything when it comes to severe weather. It's not going to wash out our weekend. We're not talking about a deluge of rain either, which is good. We don't want a lot of rainfall for the next couple of days. Honestly, the next 2 weeks, the less rain we have, the better we're going to be. We're all clear for code red, but we are going to begin to track some thunderstorms here coming in for the weekend hours themselves. But for the here and the now, just starting off here on our Thursday, how does the weather impact our traffic? We always kind of look at the two things together. Reduced visibility in some areas is likely. We have some fog that's moving in, and that'll be here for us this morning in some spots. So use the low beams, but also grab the glasses. Kind of counterintuitive. I can't see, and then I want ways not to see. Well, once the fog does lift, plenty of sunshine for later on this afternoon. So just use a little bit of caution here. You may leave the house and everything looks great, and then a few miles down the road, boom, you hit the fog. Don't tailgate the person in front of you today. It's not one of those kind of mornings. 56 degrees. Current temperature right now in Nashville, so similar start here, but it really is the upper elevated areas in the plateau where we're seeing temperatures that are a little bit cooler in the 40s, 79 sunny degrees this afternoon. The humidity is down. It is fantastic. Tomorrow, a little creep up with the humidity, but that's the last day we'll feel comfortable, 84 degrees, and then everything changes into the weekend. Isolated showers and storms take us morning into the afternoon. Then we do the same thing on Sunday. We're not washing it out, but definitely want to have some rain gear if you have outdoor plans for both days on Saturday and Sunday.
Let's get to your steer clear traffic. We are following things happening out there on your roads. Let's get started here at I-40 at Dallas and Pike. This is out near the airport. If you've got a flight this morning, you're picking someone up, dropping someone off, you're doing really well. No problems getting out there to the airport. We're looking good. We'll continue to follow things as we have just picked up something brand new from I-24 near Montgomery County. That is where we've got several cars involved in a crash there on the I-24 eastbound lanes. We're going to get to that in a map and show you how it could impact you coming up in the next few minutes. A national advocate for removing the tax on feminine hygiene products is making a stop in the mid-state. Now, let's take a look here as this particular advocate was in Nashville yesterday. Tennessee has the 7% state sales tax that applies to feminine hygiene products. Now, there is a city or county tax on top of that. In the past 10 years, an advocate has been crusading across the United States, trying to make feminine hygiene products tax exempt. She is hoping that Tennessee will come around.
It's not something that you really think about, but the repercussions are very real for so many people, and it sets this sort of dangerous legal precedent that stands in the way of getting things done like period products in schools and shelters and workplaces. So it's really important to take down the tampon tax.
She has reached out to state lawmakers asking for a tax rollback, but so far they have not responded to her request. Well, a sigh of relief for golfer Scottie Scheffler. We're going to tell you.
ForThePeople.com.
4:24 is the time. Live look there from the Life and Casualty building high above downtown Nashville. We call it the LNC Tower. It's Nashville's original skyscraper. At one point, it was just the LNC and nothing else. Been up there over Nashville since 1959. You can take a look here at the view it provides across the Cumberland River. Nice morning in store. Greg Bobus has got the details for us coming up in the next few minutes. Making headlines this morning, all criminal charges have been dropped against the world's #1 golfer, Scottie Scheffler. Now, he was facing a felony charge and 3 misdemeanors following an arrest outside of the PGA Championship nearly 2 weeks ago. He was accused of driving around a scene of a deadly crash just outside of the Valhalla Golf Club there in Louisville, and also accused of dragging an officer with him in the process of trying to move through that scene. Yesterday, the case was dropped at the request of the top prosecutor there in Louisville. Following the decision, Scheffler released a statement saying, in part, "I hold no ill will towards the officer. I wish to put this incident behind me and move on. I hope he will do the same." Let's talk to Greg Bowman right now. He's got a look at your Thursday forecast here.
That we do, starting off nice and comfortable here, almost a little bit cool. You might want like an extra layer, maybe even some long sleeves to kick off the day and then go back to what you had on yesterday. Afternoon, very similar, right near 80 degrees. The humidity is low. Very pleasant day. This is one of the last days you're going to feel that for the next 7 to 10 days. Starting tomorrow, it begins to creep back up and really takes back over for Saturday into Sunday. Pollen counts have not moved much. Talked about it yesterday, how allergies are not a big player in the game, but there are still some influences of a few allergens here or there. Trees and grass pollen, really the two things to watch out for today and tomorrow. Rain moves back in, isolated showers and storms for Saturday and Sunday, and that will bring down the pollen, but also, again, be a little more inconvenient. So how's your weekend looking? Isolated storms, still no signs of severe weather at any point into the upcoming weekend. Temperatures in the low 80s, and again, a little more humidity each day.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get you out and about this morning to the very latest happening on I-65. That's I-65 there, Trinity Lane on the north side of town. As you can see, traffic up there moving along pretty well. Back behind this several miles, though, we do have a crash we want to draw your attention to, and that's happening coming down I-24, coming out of Clarksville into downtown Nashville. We do have a crash around mile marker 15 that is going to slow you up significantly. You can see the backup building there on I-24 going back for several miles back into Clarksville. The best way to steer clear is using Clarksville Pike, which is Highway 41A. You can see it there on your screen. That's going to be your best bet to try and get around this. Well, let's talk about some national news out there this morning, and they involve two giant pandas that will be making their much anticipated return to Washington, D.C. this year. Now, the two giant pandas are set to arrive at the Smithsonian National Zoo at the end of the year, or at least by the end of the year. It's because of the zoo's Giant Panda Conservation Program in partnership with China. This comes after 3 giant pandas left the National Zoo last year. More giant pandas are set to arrive in other parts of the country. In California, zoos in both San Francisco and San Diego confirm they are also preparing to welcome in the panda bears. A 13-year-old has died and his sister is hurt. This is after police say a shooting took place at a Bellevue park overnight. We've got the details on what officers.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Coming up, we have an update on a shooting that police say happened in the parking lot in Bellevue, killing one boy and hurting his sister.
Plus, we are addressing crime in one North Nashville neighborhood. We're going to tell you how local businesses are working to cut down on crime in that area.
Waking up even cooler than yesterday morning and a few areas of some patchy fog. We'll work through that and then into an upcoming active pattern for your weekend.
Thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning, just after 4:30 here on your Thursday morning. I'm Justin McFarland. We do continue to follow some developing news out of Bellevue. That's where police say that a 13-year-old boy was killed and his sister was hurt after a shooting took place. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar live for us this morning at a park where this whole thing happened. Karen?
That's right, Justin. That's exactly where police say this whole thing happened. And police have now arrested the suspect, who's 15 years old and has been arrested in connection with the shooting that happened last night right here behind me in this parking lot of Red Caboose Park in Bellevue that ended up killing that 13-year-old boy and hurting his 16-year-old sister. The boy, police say, was found on the pavement before being taken to the hospital. You can see officers here still on scene. Police have identified the suspect as D. Anthony Ososifo. Police say that it all started because a fight broke out between girls in the park a little before 8 o'clock last night. During the fight, they say the suspect pulled out a gun and the brother and sister were hit. They say the 13-year-old boy was taken to a nearby hospital where he later died. He has been identified as Aiden Hayes. Police say the 16-year-old girl was also taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Here's Don Aaron with the Metro Police Department answering how the fight started.
At this point in the investigation, we need to determine whether the girls, the females who were involved in the initial fight, came here for the purpose of fighting.
The suspect is now being charged with criminal homicide and attempted criminal homicide. Reporting live in Bellevue, Karen Aguilar, Fox 15 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Karen, thank you so much. 4:33 is the time. Metro Police say that a convicted felon is now being charged with a murder in connection to a deadly shooting that took place last fall. They say that Narkevius Featherson is the person who was arrested yesterday and charged with first-degree murder. Police say that Featherston shot and killed Anthony Barksdale back in November. Happened at the Hermitage apartment complex there. We're told that Featherston had previous convictions for aggravated burglary and evading arrest out of Rutherford County. He also has pending assault charges in Nashville as well. Well, neighbors are addressing crime and safety issues at a North Nashville intersection, and they've been talking about this now for several years. They called an emergency meeting with Metro Police and community leaders yesterday to discuss the issue at the intersection of Buchanan Street and Clarksville Highway. Police say they know the area well, saying frequent loitering attracts drug dealers and substance abuse as well. A lawyer for a liquor store that has been at that intersection for many years says that many people are blaming them for the crime, but they say the store really isn't the problem.
The biggest problem in the neighborhood is the abandoned property across the street, which is where most of the bad activity is taking place.
Police say it is up to local businesses like that liquor store across the street to crack down on loitering there in that area. The liquor store says that they have added more lighting and even hired security guards to try and manage the problem.
And the big question here when it comes to weather is what's new this morning that you didn't necessarily know about when you went to bed last night? Well, we were cool yesterday, but we're even cooler right now. If you're waking up on the Cumberland Plateau, you've got temperatures that are in the 40s. That'll be the case tomorrow morning as well. We have 2 more dry days today and tomorrow before isolated weekend storms move in for your Saturday and your Sunday. Unfortunately, we can't keep it all dry. Now, it's also not going to be a washout, but right now 56 degrees. We had a clear night leading us into this clear start to the day. Plenty of sunshine later on this afternoon. High temperatures going to be in the low to middle 70s in the plateau, mid to upper 70s in the Nashville area. Might even hit 80 if we're lucky, leading our way toward 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The majority of us, though, are going to be stuck right in the upper 70s, a little bit below average for this time of the year. 84 degrees tomorrow, so the heat comes back slowly. Humidity follows that going into the weekend. And again, a few hit and miss storms for the morning and afternoons of Saturday and into Sunday as well.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning at 4:35. Here's a quick look here at what's going on outside. This is going to be I-40 at 46th Avenue there on the west side of town. As you can see there, traffic moving along pretty well. No big problems in either direction. We are running into an issue coming down from Clarksville, though. We do have a crash at mile marker 15. Mile marker 15 leaving Clarksville headed towards Pleasant View. Crash involving multiple cars that's backing up traffic for several miles. You want to try to take Highway 41A as your best way to steer clear of that crash coming down from Montgomery County. Well, new this morning, identity theft may have been behind a recent scheme to foreclose on Elvis Presley's iconic mansion, Graceland. Reports say that a self-proclaimed identity thief who claims to be from Nigeria is now claiming and taking responsibility for this scam. They say the goal was to steal the Graceland mansion and sell it at auction. Reports say that the thief claims to have stolen many other identities in the past. The mansion was set to go to auction following the claims of failed loan payments, but Presley's granddaughter prevented that sale by suing the company for fraud, and with good reason. A warning for Nissan drivers. This morning, we're going to tell you why they're asking people with older models not to drive their cars unless repairs. Happening right now, some Nissan owners are being warned to stop driving their vehicles immediately. Let's take a look, if we can, at the Nissan North American plant. This is out there in Franklin, just off of I-65 in the Cool Springs area. This is their North American headquarters. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says older Nissan models with Takata airbags should not be driven until repairs can be made. The warning covers around 84,000 Nissan vehicles. More than 100 million Takata airbags inflators have been recalled in the last decade. The agency says that the defective airbags can explode in the car and potentially cause injuries or even death. The Dollar Tree Distribution Center in a place called Marietta, Oklahoma, was hit hard by an EF4 tornado back in April, and now it would not be reopening. A company spokesperson says that the employees will be paid through June 22nd and will receive a severance and benefits package. That warehouse employs more than 450 people. The company says none of them were hurt during April's storm that tore that building apart, and you can see sent tractor trailers flying in some cases.
Waking up here to forecast is pretty good, just like yesterday. Every hour of the day is going to give us, no cause for concern. So I've been talking about it all week. Find ways to take advantage of today and going into tomorrow as well. The last 2 dry days we'll have for the next 7. So your golf forecast for us this morning, morning tee times, 67 degrees at 9 o'clock. We'll be at 77 degrees at noon and right near 80 for 3 o'clock. Very similar afternoon compared to yesterday, with the morning a little bit cooler here for us than it was yesterday. And no one to mow. Yes, and then yeah. Isolated showers and storms on Saturday. If you don't have the lawn mowed by Saturday into Sunday, you really are finding those windows of opportunity for the weekend and beyond. I would just say get it done now while the humidity is also down. No rain today or tomorrow, but we'll talk about rain chances toward the weekend and beyond in the next Check Your Coded forecast.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get you out and about this morning to I-40 at Spence Lane. That's over on the east side of town. Traffic over there moving along pretty well. No major tie-ups out there on that particular part of the road, but there is a problem to the north and west of us, and that's coming down from Clarksville. That's where we do have a crash on I-24 right at mile marker number 15. As you make that drive down, traffic is being backed up for several miles. The best way to steer clear, using Highway 41 out of the city. You can jump back on around exit 19, I believe, there in the Pleasant View area. But until they get that crash clear, which does involve multiple cars, it's going to be a slow roll coming down from Clarksville. Well, thousands of people in Texas are still without power this morning. .44 is the time. Hundreds of thousands of people in the state of Texas are still without power, and it could remain that way for several days. This is after a deadly storm tore through the state on Tuesday and over the holiday weekend as well. Laura Agiri takes a closer look at this storm and how many people are trying to cope as they've lost their homes as the hot weather starts to set in.
This is a multi-day event just to get the power back on.
Not the news many Texans living in storm-battered counties want to hear as they face a long recovery from devastating property damage with temperatures rising. At one point Tuesday, over 1 million customers in that state were without electricity, according to poweroutage.us. Crews have been making progress, but hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses remain without service Wednesday.
We're doing food distribution and cooling shelters, but it's really tough on those people who have been without power.
Texas was among the hardest hit states in a wave of deadly storms that moved through the central and southern U.S. over Memorial Day weekend. More punishing storms Tuesday blew in on wind gusts that neared 80 miles an hour.
And all of a sudden, boom, everything just fell down.
We just heard ruckus everywhere around us, so, we rushed in the bathroom.
These residents survived but are out of a home. Their apartments declared uninhabitable by local authorities. Closer to Houston, a 16-year-old worker was killed when a severe thunderstorm toppled a home under construction in Magnolia, confirmed the fire department there.
There's a possibility of more storms in the next couple of days, and so we may see more damage that'll have to be fixed.
Forecasters are tracking more severe storms for the central U.S. Thursday, from Texas north through the Dakotas. I'm Laura Agiri reporting.
4:46 is the time. Let's take a look at your forecast right here in the Mid-State. Greg Boba standing by as we look into Thursday, but of course, Greg is always looking towards the weekend.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we have to always look at the next inconvenient thing while we still focus on the good stuff that's here for now. So we'll do both right now.
All right.
As far as starting off today, now we're getting to that point where we haven't had rain since Sunday. So if you have the garden going, if you have any plants outside, you got to start watering them yourself. 67 degrees at 9 a.m., 77 at noon, and 80 degrees at 3 p.m. Now, the question is when to do it. We're getting to that point of the year where we have our sun rays that are very, very strong, even when we're not that hot outside. So think about a stoplight. Green means go, yellow means not the greatest hour. And then you look at the red hours. Do not water during the peak heating of the day and the peak sunlight of the day. But I would say the hour or two right around when sun first starts rising and right before sun sets. So the sunrise this morning will be just after 5:30. Sun will set right near 8 o'clock. That hour or two after it rises and the hour or two right before it sets, you're in a really good place when it comes to watering and not damaging plants. 56 degrees right now in Nashville. We're on our way to right near 80 later on this afternoon. This is a little deceiving. Visibility tracker. Ooh, one little dot. No, we do have some areas that do have some fog out there this morning. It is not too dense just yet, but you'll notice some reduced visibility. The foggiest morning we've had so far this week. Just keep that in the back of your mind as we're kicking off here on a Thursday and getting closer to the weekend. The weekend also, we bring back our chance for some showers and thunderstorms, isolated in nature on Saturday and Sunday. 79 degrees today, 84 degrees tomorrow. We're starting off cool, upper 40s and low 50s to start today.
Steer clear traffic gets you out the door this morning with the latest look here at 65 at the 24 junction there on the north side. We're doing fine, at least there we are. No big problems in either direction. The problem we are having is coming down from the north and west side, and that is from Clarksville. Let's take a look there. There it is. We are dealing with a crash right around mile marker number 15 as you leave Clarksville headed towards Pleasant View. That is where the slowdown is. You want to try to take Highway 41A. That's going to be your best bet to steer clear. Clarksville Pike is what it's called in some cases. That can get you past that particular crash until they get it cleared up. We understand it involves several vehicles there on 24 East as you come down from Clarksville. Well, the Titans wide receiver room got one of the biggest makeovers that the franchise has ever seen during their offseason. Head coach Brian Callahan added several big names to the roster, along with the GM Rand Carthen, of course. The Fox 17 sports director Jill Jonick has more on the brand new wide receiver core and how the chemistry continues to build into minicamp.
Tennessee Titans done with the installation part of their new offense, and new wide receiver Calvin Ridley says he already loves this new system, especially because of the amount of passing that is involved with head coach Brian Callahan's new offense. Ridley also noting that this is a wide receiver room with a lot of potential. Of course, he brings years of experience to the table, but also Tyler Boyd signing with the Titans this offseason and DeAndre Hopkins returning for a second year as well. Ridley saying that this is a talented group and they're putting in the work right now during OTAs.
Feel good. It looks like we're going to be throwing it pretty good. I love to get the ball. Love the way they're using me so far. Moving around pretty good. Yeah, we got all of it in so far. You know, we got to run through it a couple more times, but I feel like we're gelling pretty good this far in.
He's everything that you would expect him to be. He's a great pro. He's a phenomenal person to be around. He's incredibly talented. You see his speed and his burst when you watch him on the field. I think he's really going to help us, and he's a pro's pro.
Titans third-year wideout Traylon Burks enters a crucial year with the team after battling injuries his first 2 seasons. He says a year under his belt gives him more confidence, and he's also enjoyed the veteran presence of Tyler Boyd and Calvin Ridley.
You would think with everybody being like #1 receivers in the room, there would be confusion, arguing. No, it's not like that. It's big brotherhood. We have fun, we laugh, we joke. When we get on the field, we know it's work. And you know, when somebody messes up on a route or can critique a route, when we come back to the huddle, you know, one of us is there to, you know, do that. And, you know, that's what you want in a receiver room because it brings a lot of confidence. And we just have fun with it.
Titans wrapping up OTAs this week, and then it's mandatory minicamp next week. Head coach Brian Callahan saying the biggest difference next week will be, one, that it's mandatory for the team, but also they'll have more freedom with time and more freedom with what they can do, including 7-on-7 drills. Reporting from the Titans practice facility, Jill Johnlick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Thank you, Jill. In other sports news this morning, the Nashville Sounds put up some big numbers last night. 14 hits as they beat the Memphis Redbirds. 9-4 was the final score last night. The Sounds jumped ahead early in this game, scoring 4 runs in the first inning. Now the series continues tonight in Memphis. First pitch is scheduled for 7:05. Paleontologists have discovered a new kind of dinosaur, they say. A model of the skull was unveiled right there at a dinosaur resource center in Colorado. Back in 2002, a paleontologist found a jawbone in Montana. At first, he believed it belonged to a T-Rex, but over time, he realized that the fossil was much older than a T-Rex. They now say they have a new kind of tyrannosaur. Over the next year or so, they plan to build an entire dino skeleton of what this really big dinosaur would have looked like. Wow. Assessing the nation's bridges. Researchers say they're taking a look at bridge safety after the deadly collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore. We'll tell you more about that. Thank you for waking up with us each and every morning here on Fox 17 News. This morning is we're 4:55 is the time. Live look there over Metro Center. The orange glow there in the distance. Starting another day here in Nashville, a Thursday here. Greg Bobus will be along shortly to tell us exactly how warm it could get and how good it could feel out there for your Thursday. Johns Hopkins University researchers are now assessing the nation's bridges following the deadly collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Now, a team of faculty members as well as students will concentrate on large bridges near critical entry points around the country. As you can take a look at this video from back in March. They will build model bridges to examine the probability of similar ship incidents happening. Johns Hopkins says that they're hoping that policymakers will use their assessment for future infrastructure investments and upgrades. Now, the preliminary findings are expected to be released at the end of the summer. A complete assessment will take at least 1 year to complete. A thunderstorm turned into a striking background for this Kansas couple and their wedding photos. Look at that. Looks like the cover of some type of novel. But this is Trapper and Michaela Shores, who celebrated their wedding with some less than favorable weather rolling in. Instead of running from the storm, the couple and their photographer decided to take the photos in. The results are these stunning memories caught on camera right here. The couple says that these snapshots represent the day and their relationship. There might be some bad weather, but it's ultimately very beautiful. That is a nice thing to say. We hear rain is actually good luck on a wedding day. That's what I've heard. Don't know.
Justin, please don't tell my fiance that.
You guys are getting married outside, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on y'all. Y'all just inside. Okay, so.
And if I bring the rain on the wedding day,
nature happens. Okay.
Not going to be so hot. Taking a look. Today, not hot either. 79 degrees. Beautiful. More of the same later on this afternoon. If you enjoyed yesterday, today is a fantastic one again. Bright sunshine takes us through the afternoon toward the evening. Sunset will be at 7:58. We're creeping closer and closer to that 8 p.m. sunset. More than 14 hours worth of sun for us today. Always looking ahead toward the weekend, and unfortunately this time around, like last weekend, a few showers and storms will be out there. Now, they will not be severe. They will not be all-day storms, and even the amount of rain that we get with these will not cause any concerns for flooding, which is good. 83 degrees on Saturday, 80 on Sunday. Best way to get around the storms is to know where they're at. How do you do that when you're on the go? Fox 17 Code Red weather app. You can just scan the QR code, go to the App Store, type in Red.
Steer clear traffic gets us out the door this morning. Let's go to downtown. This is going to be I-24 at Shelby Avenue there in downtown Nashville. We're looking really nice in that area so far. No big problems in either direction. The problem we are following throughout the morning is this one coming down from Clarksville. This is going to be I-24 right near mile marker number 15 coming down from Clarksville. There is a slowdown that has developed back behind it, around 70 minutes on the drive coming down there this morning. You want to use Highway 41A as the best way to steer clear. Well, tomorrow marks World No Tobacco Day, the annual World Health Organization campaign designed to sound the alarm of the potential deadly effects of using tobacco. Now, new research from the organization reveals that roughly 37 million teens use tobacco products. When it comes to e-cigarettes, the report says that many countries are seeing higher use among kids than adults, something experts attribute to the availability of tempting flavors.
Bubblegum, vanilla ice cream, cookies, all aimed for children.
In the U.S., the report found more than 70% of teen e-cigarette users would be using them if they only came in tobacco flavor. That is something they'll be studying now, I imagine, for several years to come, as our 5 o'clock hour starts right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning, 5 o'clock right now on Fox 17 News This Morning. Metro Police confirming a 13-year-old boy is dead, his sister injured in a shooting at a popular playground in Bellevue. Updates on that investigation involving now a 15-year-old suspect.
Plus, we're also learning more about a shooting in Laverne that left 2 people dead. Charges now filed against the suspects.
And here we go. One more nice start here with low humidity. Temperatures even cooler. Some spots waking up in the 40s, but when we transition back to a summer-like feel coming up in the forecast.
The 40s. It feels great outside. Thank you so much for waking up with us here on a Thursday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Let's get straight to the top few stories you'll want to know about before you head out the door here on this Thursday morning. Jury deliberations will resume this morning in former President Trump's criminal hush money trial. The panel of 12 New Yorkers deliberating for about 4.5 hours yesterday. After getting instructions, they are tasked with determining whether the former president is guilty of 34 counts of falsifying business records related to alleged hush money payments before the 2016 presidential election.
Former Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley is now drawing some criticism for signing an artillery shell during a trip to Israel. Take a look here at this photo. Photos posted online yesterday show Haley writing the message, which reads, "Finish them. America loves Israel always." The human rights group Amnesty International denounced this as a political stunt.
All criminal charges have now been dropped against top-ranked golfer Scottie Scheffler. He had been facing a felony count and 3 misdemeanors following his arrest outside of the PGA Championship in Louisville, accused of driving around the scene of a deadly crash and dragging an officer along with him. Well, just yesterday, the case was dropped at the request of the prosecutor's office.
5:02, and the weather story for us here this morning gives us 3 bullet points that do begin to change things back to a more summer-like and also humid pattern today. One more great day, but the countdown to humidity is on by Saturday. It is back in full force. Rain returns Saturday into Sunday as well. We'll start looking at future track for the first time this week in about 10 minutes. The next check of your forecast. Just know that we're still going to be all clear. We have no problems when it comes to any severe weather or any code red weather leading into and out of the upcoming weekend, at least through Monday into Tuesday. What are we wearing today? Very similar clothes to yesterday. Whatever kept you comfortable during the afternoon, go for it, but maybe even a sweater this morning to start, because we are a little bit on the cooler side. Right side of your screen, current temperatures are there all the way through 9 o'clock, even during your commercial breaks. Taking a look here out the door on your Thursday, May 30th, 54 degrees at 6 o'clock, 57 at 7, and 61 degrees at 8 a.m. You may catch a few areas of patchy fog, but we have no advisories and no major causes for concern. 79 degrees today, goes to 84 tomorrow, and then low 80s for Saturday and Sunday. Unfortunately, our 5-day break from the rain leads us to 5 straight days with chances for showers and storms starting on Saturday.
Greg, thank you. Steer clear traffic. The big issue of the morning is impacting our commuters coming in from Clarksville. In fact, we've got your drive time pulled up right now, more than an hour to get into Nashville, and it's only 5:03. TDOT reporting several vehicles involved in a crash on I-24. This is just, I guess you would say, just technically east of Sango. So after you leave Clarksville, you come through Sango, and then that's where you're going to run into the crash before you get to Pleasant View. It's in between Sango and Pleasant View. Best detour here is going to be a 41, Highway 41. It's not backed up yet, but we'll check it again in just a few minutes.
Right now, though, we are following developing news out of Bellevue, where Metro Police say a 13-year-old boy was killed. His sister was hurt also in this shooting. Police say the suspect in custody is just 15 years old.
And this all happened at the Red Caboose Park, right off Highway 70 South, a very popular place there in Bellevue. That is where we find Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live. Karen, we know that, as Erica just mentioned, a 15-year-old now in custody.
That's right. Police say a 15-year-old is now in custody in connection from last night's shooting that they say happened right here behind me in this parking lot at Red Caboose Park in Bellevue. He has been identified as D'Anthony Osososifo. You can see police officers are still here on scene, and that spot in the corner is where they say the 13-year-old boy was found. Police say that it all started because of a fight broke out between girls in the park a little before 8 o'clock last night. During the fight, they say someone pulled out a gun and a brother and sister were hit. They say the 13-year-old boy was taken to a nearby hospital and later died. He's been identified as Aiden Hayes. Police say the 16-year-old girl, who was his sister, was also taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Here's Don Aaron with the Metro Police Department with his reaction.
This is a bad night for Nashville to have two teens, brother and sister, 16 and 13, being the victims of violent crime, and the 13-year-old is deceased.
The suspect is now being charged with criminal homicide and attempted criminal homicide. Reporting live in Bellevue, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Nashville Mayor Freddie O'Connell responded to the shooting last night, writing in part, showing you a message right here on the screen. My heart breaks tonight for the families who experienced firsthand the tragedy of gun violence in a park in Bellevue. I am grateful to first responders who immediately rendered aid, as well as the Metro police officers who quickly apprehended a possible suspect.
We go to Laverne this morning for an update on a shooting that happened there. We now know the names of the victims who were killed in Laverne Tuesday. 2 people killed. It happened at an apartment complex just off Murfreesboro Road. Metro Police identifying the victims as Raymond Delgado Jr. and Aaron Smith. They say 2 adults and 2 17-year-olds are now charged in that deadly shooting. One of the teenagers charged with murder. The other 3 charged with making a false report. This investigation does continue here on the Thursday morning.
After a quick break, we're going to tell you more about Metro Police who responded to a fire at a Nolensville Pike business and then discovered. Developing now, Metro Police are investigating a fire and assault. It all happened at a Nolensville Pike business. Police and fire rescue say it happened at this clothing store. It's in the 4700 block of Nolensville Pike, and this was yesterday afternoon.
This is not far from the intersection of Nolensville Pike and Haywood. You can see a lot of other businesses really close by in this strip mall type setup. Several people initially called to report a fight, and then minutes later, police got more calls about a fire at the same address. When they got there, they found smoke and flames coming from the bathroom. Metro Police still searching for whoever was involved in that assault. The cause of the fire also still under investigation.
I think there should be restrictions to short-term rentals.
Well, in Operation Crime and Justice, Fox 17 News, we are investigating crime linked to a short-term rental. The latest issue, though, involves a 15-year-old shot at a party on Elliston Place Tuesday night.
I got to tell you, all these shootings around Nashville involving these young people are just, it can be disheartening.
Yeah.
But Metro Police say that this particular call came in right around midnight at a trendy apartment complex on Elliston Place. When they got there, police say an 18-year-old woman told detectives that she and a group of friends had rented out the apartment through a short-term rental company for what they called a glow party. But apparently the party got out of hand. Officers say a fight broke out and a 15-year-old boy got shot. He went to Vanderbilt in critical condition. Neighbors say this is not the first time they've had to deal with unruly guests.
Half of the building or a third of the building is Airbnb. There's sketchy people walking around. There's parties all the time. Beer cans left around in the hallways.
Not a good situation. Last month, Fox 17 News, we told you about a 15-year-old now behind bars accused in a shooting at a birthday party at another short-term rental over on Young's Lane. One person for that particular story was killed.
Now at 5:11, we want to know what you think. Do you think Metro is doing enough to regulate short-term rentals? Right now, 84% of you say no. The poll is live, it's active, it's open. We've got about 200 votes already this morning. So scan that QR code right there. You can vote, tell us what you think, and feel free to leave us a comment.
And coming up in your Code Red forecast, not much happening today that's very different than yesterday, but everything begins to change leading into the weekend. What you need to know to kickstart your Saturday and Sunday.
And right now, Fox 17 News showing you a quick live look. I-65 at Trinity Lane. Well, after favoring sports, we're going to talk about that story in a second. Let's talk about the sunrise right here.
It's
beautiful.
Pretty. Yeah.
And low humidity.
It's so nice.
When I stepped outside today, I was like, yes, we are reaching my favorite. Well, this is going to be a blimp. It's not going to be forever.
Yeah, in fact, Greg is tracking some rain that's going to come in for the weekend, so we'll join him in just a couple minutes to get a complete forecast.
Can I talk about the story now that I was starting?
Go for it.
Well, after favoring sports, academics, and other pursuits, the last few summers, teenagers are now headed back to work.
Yeah, inflation looks to be a key driver. Karen Kafa in Washington with why more teenagers are picking up summer jobs. And if you have a teenager at home, we'll help you figure out how to start the search.
Teens are expected to job hunt in a big way this summer, and some key sectors will welcome the help.
Jobs that teens typically usually fill, recreation, food service, a lot of those employers in those sectors are having a hard time filling those roles. And so in some ways, the teen summer surge couldn't come at a better time.
A report by outplacement firm Challenger Gray and Christmas forecasts teens will see an additional 1.3 million jobs in May, June, and July. This, as the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed more than 5.8 million teens between age 16 and 19 employed during the month of April, an increase from about 5.7 million the year prior. Challenger says part of the push is the squeeze of inflation on teens and families. Mark Hamrick, senior economic analyst at Bankrate, says the job market is in their favor.
The good news here is that the job market remains strong. There is more demand for workers than there is supply of workers.
Aaron Terrazas, chief economist at Glassdoor, says employers realize teens won't come to interviews with lengthy resumes, but a teen does need to show up ready to work.
They do want to see is some signal of persistence, dedication, and that this employee is going to be a reliable worker.
And Hamrick says the financial lessons of a summer job can go beyond the workplace.
The experience, not to mention the income that's associated with real work, is something that is very meaningful and important for the development of all young people.
In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
So go get a job.
5:16 is the time right now. Happy Thursday to you. Hey, check this out. We don't get to see this very often. A gorgeous live look this morning from Niagara Falls.
It's looking extra misty this morning.
Love that shot. That's a place I've never been.
You've never been there?
Nope, never been.
Oh.
Would love to go.
And then do the Maiden of the Mist.
All I can think about, though, is the scene from Bruce Almighty.
I know you were going to talk about that.
Which is not suitable for TV, but anyhow, it was a great scene.
Well, let's check in now on the forecast. Greg, you talked about the great weather this week, but then next week, showers, and I can't help but think that's when CMA Fest is kicking off.
Oh, we can handle it.
We can handle it? Okay.
Compared to last weekend, what we're getting coming up here is going to be very, very manageable. It's going to be inconvenient, but compared to the damaging wind that we had, the tornadoes that we had, and the flooding, this is not the kind of weather pattern we're settling into. It really is just knowing how you can prepare for it in advance. But I tell you, this will be a different weekend, and even going into next week than that long week we had last week. Backyard forecast, 67 degrees at 9 a.m., 77 at noon, and 80 degrees at 3 p.m. So very similar setup to how we start and end today, very much so like yesterday. So what does that mean for, let's just stay in the backyard for the whole forecast here. We'll work you through it. Taking a look, maybe you didn't get a chance to get outside, or maybe you have the grill on the back of the mind here, but it's been a busy week. Today is also going to be a good one. We'll go 5, 6, and 7 o'clock. Upper 70s going to the middle 70s by then. Loaded with sunshine the entire time. And then after everyone's already had the good meal and is all nice and good to go, maybe find a comfortable chair and stay outside. I'm telling you, today and tomorrow, you want to be outside. Bonfire forecast continuing through the evening. 78 degrees at 6 o'clock. By the time we get to 8, temperatures are down to 72. And then our temperatures go back into the 60s here by 10 o'clock at 65 degrees. Today and tomorrow, the last 2 dry days we're going to have in the forecast. Taking a look, hit and miss weak showers and thunderstorms. We always look for any indicators of severe weather as far in advance as we can to start getting that narrative going of what we have to expect. Hit and miss weaker storms on Saturday and Sunday and all the way through Monday, a good 5 days away. Still no signs of severe weather, but there will be some scattered showers and storms. The humidity goes back up into this weekend, and nighttime temperatures get a little, not more uncomfortable necessarily, but a little warmer here to the point to where you're going to notice it up near 70 degrees overnight starting on Sunday.
Steer clear traffic gets us out to I-65 at Trinity Lane. That's on the north side of town. Traffic up there moving along really nicely as the sun has just begun to rise there on that north side. No big problems in either direction up there, at least not yet, but things can and will change. And for instance, like this particular scene here will be bumper to bumper in about an hour, but right now we're doing good. Let me tell you where it is bumper to bumper, and that is up near the Clarksville area as you make your way out of Clarksville towards Pleasant View. This crash is happening right here at mile marker number 15 as you make that drive into town there. It is causing a bit of a slowdown and it backs up for several miles. What you want to do is use Highway 41A. That's Clarksville Highway right there. It's on the green, doing well right now. You can jump back on at exit 19 further down in Pleasant View. That's going to be your best bet to steer clear until they're able to get this out of the way. This is a crash that has multiple vehicles involved, we understand, and they're working hard to try and free up more lanes.
Justin, thank you. And health news now, and a good story for coffee lovers. Delaying your morning cup of coffee a little bit, according to some health experts, could give you a better start to your day, but I don't believe that.
All right, here's what they're suggesting. Start your first cup of coffee 30 to 60 minutes after you wake up. So in other words, like don't stumble out of bed, fumble to the kitchen and pour yourself a cup of ambition. Wait a little while, okay? 30 to 60 minutes before your first cup of coffee. And then they say, in case you were curious, it typically takes about 20 to 30 minutes for the effects of your coffee to kick in.
Researchers do note that caffeine affects everyone differently, but recommended stopping your coffee about 6 hours before bedtime in order to have a good night's sleep.
If you want a cookie to go with your coffee, maybe you like to dip it. This would be a big dip. Footlong's Subway cookie is making its return to the menu. You might remember they first debuted this several months ago and then they went away. I hadn't noticed they went away, but we did order one of these one time.
Ooh.
Kids liked it. And now they're back. So you can order the footlong sub with your footlong cookie.
So how long after I wake up should I wait before eating my cookie?
Definitely wait a couple hours.
All right.
Don't let that sugar spike your insulin.
By the way, the menu also includes a footlong.
Locations.
5:23 is the time. If you drink water, use the roads, have ever needed a police officer or firefighter, then the city budget impacts you. Right now, the city of Nashville is trying to figure out how to spend $3.2 billion. That is what's going to be next year's budget. Now, one Metro Council member wants to use part of that $3.2 billion to hire code inspectors, not for the building, instead for the workplace. She says there's a need right now to make sure that the workplaces that Nashville city workers are getting into are safe for workers who oftentimes have been hurt or worse over the last few years.
We are one of the most dangerous cities to work in the South when it comes to construction. We've had a number of fatalities. We have injuries happening pretty much every single day. We have wage theft going on. We're currently looking into a wage theft case at Howard School. It's being renovated and we're seeing it there. There is a possibility that we are going to see lawsuits in the next couple of days. So we need to set the standard of what our metro properties should look like.
Now, she wants $400,000 from that $3.2 billion to set that money aside for at least 4 positions that would look into workplace conditions around the city of Nashville.
5:25 our time here. Sun's still not completely up just yet, but folks are already getting to the airport. So what's it look like here if you've got that flight heading out of town for the weekend? Taking a look at 67 degrees at 9 o'clock, 77 at noon, and 80 degrees at 3 p.m. Just like yesterday, not a problem with our weather here back home. Just kind of got to figure out what your destination is and how the weather's looking there and where your plane's coming from. This is the lowest number of flight delays we've seen so far this week, only 10. Right now on the big board, 56 degrees, your current temperature, and no wind to speak of. A crystal clear sky. That sun is coming up. We get it all day long here on Future Tracks. We're going to fast forward through today through 4 p.m. Ooh, a cloud. That's pretty much all you're going to see. And tomorrow, not much to worry about either. I'm going to stop you here. They're going in tomorrow night. This is tomorrow night leading into Saturday morning. So midnight tomorrow into Saturday morning. Some scattered showers and weak storms move in. You will wake up with a few dots on the radar going into Saturday morning and afternoon as well. So keep that in mind. Activity starts the second half of your Friday night and then leads into a few isolated showers and storms for Saturday and Sunday. So we'll kick off the first day of June back to an active pattern. Again, isolated. No severe weather in our forecast either day for the weekend. You will notice the humidity, though, so pack the rain gear and know that it will be a little less comfortable than today and tomorrow.
Steer clear traffic getting out the door this morning on the Montgomery County side of things coming down from Clarksville. We are seeing a bit of a slowdown here at I-24 heading eastbound into Nashville. That crash is happening at mile marker 15 here as you approach Pleasant View. The best way to steer clear is using 41A, which has remained green for the most part here this morning. I can't promise it's going to stay that way for long as more and more traffic pours out onto the road. We've been dealing with this crash since our 4 o'clock hour here. We understand it involves multiple vehicles and has shut down at least one lane of 24 East, and there's not a lot of lanes here to begin with. So this is what's causing that slowdown that runs back for several miles. So we'll continue to watch it here. Again, 41A is how you steer clear. We're going to take a look into things happening here in Metro Nashville coming up in a few. Well, a 13-year-old boy has died and his sister is hurt. This is after a shooting at a Bellevue park. We're going to break down what officers say led to those shots being fired. And we've all gotten the email from the Nigerian prince, right? Well, let's take it a step further.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
We have the latest on a shooting that police say happened at a parking lot of a park in Bellevue. Coming up, I'll tell you the latest on the suspect and the victims.
Plus, addressing crime in one North Nashville neighborhood, how local businesses are working to cut down on crime in the area.
And the good times keep rolling. Take a look at the sunrise here over Nashville. This is not going to be how we lead into the weekend. Clouds and thunderstorms return. We'll break them down for you coming up in your forecast.
Wow, that sunrise, though, is a stunner. Thank you so much for joining us here on a Thursday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We continue to follow the developing news from overnight and early this morning from Bellevue, where a 13-year-old boy is dead. His sister injured in a shooting at a very popular park.
Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar is joining us live from that park where police say it all happened in the parking lot. Karen, what is the very latest update?
Well, Erica, the very latest update is that the suspect is now in custody. He is 15 years old and he is arrested in connection from last night's shooting that police say happened in this parking lot right here behind me at Red Caboose Park in Bellevue that ended up killing that 13-year-old boy and hurting his 16-year-old sister. The boy, police say, was found on the pavement before being taken to the hospital. You can see officers here are still on scene. Police have identified the suspect as D. Anthony Ososifo. Police say that all started because of a fight broke out between girls in the park a little before 8 o'clock last night. During the fight, they say the suspect pulled out a gun and the brother and sister were hit as a result. They say the 13-year-old boy was taken to a nearby hospital where he later died. He's been identified as Aiden Hayes. Police say the 16-year-old girl was also taken to the hospital, but is expected to be okay. Here's Don Aaron with the Metro Police Department answering how this fight could have started.
At this point in the investigation, we need to determine whether the girls, the females who were involved in the initial fight, came here for the purpose of fighting.
The suspect is now being charged with criminal homicide and attempted criminal homicide. Reporting live in Bellevue, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Metro Police now say a felon is charged with murder in connection to a deadly shooting that happened, we understand, last fall. Getting to the details from Hermitage here, they say Nikelvius Featherston got arrested yesterday and is now charged with first-degree murder. Officers say he shot and killed Anthony Barksdale in November at a Hermitage apartment complex. Featherston has previous convictions of aggravated burglary and running from police in Rutherford County. He also has pending assault charges in Nashville.
Right now, neighbors are addressing crime and safety issues at a North Nashville intersection. Just yesterday, we had our cameras set up giving you live looks at that intersection. So they called an emergency meeting with Metro Police as well as community leaders yesterday discussing the issues at the intersection of Buchanan Street and Clarksville Highway. Here's video of the area we're talking about. Police say they know the area well, saying frequent loitering attracts drug dealers and substance abuse. But the lawyer for a liquor store right here at the intersection says he blames a nearby house, abandoned home, for the crime issues and says the store is not the only problem.
The biggest problem in the neighborhood is the abandoned property across the street, which is where most of the bad activity is taking place.
Now, we reached out to police who tell us it's up to local businesses, for example, that liquor store, to crack down on loitering in the area. The liquor store says they've added more lighting and hired security guards to try to help manage the problem. We'll stay on top of the story and let you know whether we see any improvements. Greg?
Taking a look here at what's new this morning in your forecast. Waking up on a Thursday, and if you're in the Cumberland Plateau, upper 40s to right near 50 degrees. But if you get west of 65, you're in the upper 50s, close to 60. So depending upon where you're at, a little cooler for some. 2 more dry days today and tomorrow. Nothing to worry about. Nothing on the radar at any point. Right near 80 degrees this afternoon. The weekend does bring in a few showers and storms that'll begin the second half of Friday night and then be very hit and miss in nature and weak going Saturday into Sunday. Maybe you're a bike rider here today. Another good one for it. All the yellow bars you see all the way through around 11 o'clock this morning, going to be in the 70s. We'll get right near 80 during the late afternoon hours and then slide back into the 60s this evening. All in all, a great day with low humidity and not much to worry about. Maybe you go for the bike ride and want to cool off, dive on into the pool. There you go, right near 80. You're good to go all day long. We will look ahead to that weekend rain coming up in the next look at your forecast.
Steer clear traffic. Let's take a look at what's happening out near the airport. This is going to be I-40 at Donaldson Pike, very close to Nashville International Airport. They are close to BNA. You can see traffic out there moving along really nicely. No big problems out there. They've turned the camera to point it towards the exit so you can see it, but really no backup here. Everything is okay. Once you get onto airport property, things change quite a bit, pretty much on a daily basis over there as they continue on with construction. And the construction really doesn't have any end in sight over there at Nashville International Airport over the next several years. So please keep that in mind if you're heading out and about. We'll continue to follow other parts of the city coming up in a few.
Justin, thank you. New this morning, an odd story from Graceland. An identity theft may be behind a recent scheme to foreclose Elvis Presley's iconic mansion.
All right, so there are reports that say the self-proclaimed identity thief, who claims to be from Nigeria, is taking responsibility for the scam. They say the goal was to steal the Graceland mansion and then sell it at auction, thinking nobody would ever catch on. The mansion was set to go to auction following claims of failed loan payments. Remember, we first brought you the story days ago, but Elvis Presley's granddaughter stepped in and said, hold on, not so fast. She knew something wasn't right. She stepped in and ultimately prevented the sale of Graceland by going after these Nigerian scammers for fraud.
Okay, it's bizarre that something as iconic as Graceland could be the victim of identity theft from someone from Nigeria.
Right, how wild. Crazy.
Well, if you drive an older Nissan, go ahead and listen up. Airbags now the reason you're being asked to stop driving certain models. We're gonna have an update from Nissan headquarters.
Good morning and welcome back into Fox 17 News this morning. Time right now is 5:39 and happening as we speak, Nissan owners being warned to stop driving vehicles immediately. Now this is impacting older Nissans, and the problem here is with airbags.
So right now we are taking a live look at Nissan North America down in Franklin. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says older Nissans with Takata airbags should not be driven until those repairs are made. Now the warning covers about 84,000 Nissan vehicles, a whole lot. More than 100 million Takata airbag inflators have been recalled over the last decade.
Now, we understand, and as we take that live look at the Nissan North American headquarters right here in the mid-state, the agency says those defective airbags can explode in a crash and cause injuries or death. And yes, these are the same Takata airbags that we have been talking about for years. I mean, years, but still in several older Nissan.
Yeah, impact so many people.
Cars and trucks and whatnot and SUVs. So please, if you've got one of these older vehicles, you could take it into a dealership, have them take a look at it for you, and keep it here as we get more updates.
Let's do a check-in now with our Code Red meteorologist. Happy Thursday, Greg.
Happy Thursday indeed, and a nice carefree Thursday just like yesterday. We basically took yesterday, put it in a bottle, we're going to open it up and do the same thing again today. Humidity is low. We're in the pleasant category here, dew points in the 50s. A very good day when it comes to comfort. Temperatures will be right near 80 later on this afternoon. Pollen counts almost identical to yesterday, so whatever got to you, if anything did, when it comes to the allergies, it would be the same story heading out the door later on today and tomorrow. They'll drop down a little bit going into Saturday and Sunday, but that's also just because we have rain. The rain knocks down the pollen counts, but usually does bring up the humidity. That'll be the case. These bars go down for the weekend. Humidity goes back up, and temperatures will climb into the 80s. We'll take a look at future track for you coming up in a few minutes and plan out that weekend rain.
Steer clear traffic takes us out to I-40 at 2nd Avenue down there at the South Loop of downtown. We're doing really nicely over there. No big problems as you make that drive into town this morning. We are doing much, much better as far as this drive and many others too. We were dealing with that slowdown coming down from Clarksville a few moments ago near Pleasant View. We've gotten that crash out of the way now, so we're doing much better in that situation. So here are your overall drive times here. 26 minutes coming in from Mount Juliet, under an hour, well under an hour from Murfreesboro. Franklin at 25 minutes. Every single one of these times will be going up as the morning goes on.
Justin, thank you. 5:42 is the time right now. Global reaction continues after an Israeli.
We are learning more about the bombs used in the latest Israeli strike that were made in the U.S. The New York Times citing weapons experts and visual evidence. The report finding remnants from a U.S.-made bomb. U.S. officials have been pushing for Israel to go ahead and use more of them, saying they limit civilian casualties. The White House, though, not confirming where the weapons were made.
Well, the heat is ramping up in Texas now as hundreds of thousands of people have been without power after severe weather ripped across the Dallas-Fort Worth area Tuesday, hitting communities with hurricane-force wind gusts and baseball-sized hail.
At one point, more than 1 million customers were left without electricity. Imagine that. Tuesday's severe weather was an extension of deadly storms that swept across the central U.S. over the busy Memorial Day weekend, killing at least 24 people in 7 states. Meanwhile, folks in North Texas are still assessing the damage from the weekend tornadoes, and there's not much relief as the central U.S. is expected to be battered by more storms over the course of the coming days.
Now, as we take a look at our forecast here at home, Greg says we also have some rain coming in to kick off our weekend. So we'll take a look at that and everything else in your forecast now.
Yeah, we'll go through the good stuff now and then work into the inconveniences of the weekend so we can plan around it and know exactly when the rain moves in on Friday. Not in the morning, afternoon, or evening. It'll be overnight into Saturday. Taking a look here, your golf forecast for you. Go ahead and tee off at any time today. It's going to be a good day. No wind, no humidity, plenty of sunshine, almost identical to yesterday. So if you kind of got a little jealous, knowing you had a friend or two, maybe was hitting the links yesterday, today can be your day. 67 degrees at 9 o'clock, 77 at noon, 80 degrees at 3, and just loaded with sun. There's not much of a change yesterday to today. A little bit cooler for the morning hours right now, but the afternoon will be very similar. So know when to mow. Yes today, yes tomorrow, and then we get into an unsettled pattern with on and off showers and storms into the weekend. I'm not saying we can't get it done on Saturday or Sunday, but you have to make sure you watch when the rain is coming in and how quickly it can come in and get out of here on and off throughout both of those days. Rain really does return after midnight going into Friday. Here's a look at future track. Here's all of today, an isolated cloud or two. That's it for today. Overnight, tomorrow night though. Here is midnight going into Saturday morning. So we're talking about Friday night into Saturday. Scattered showers and storms begin to move in. Very weak, no severe weather threat for us here back home. Here's 7 a.m. for your Saturday, and then going into the afternoon, very similar as well. So the weekend as a whole, going to call it isolated for our thunderstorms. More dry hours than rainy hours, no severe weather, but a little more humidity, and nighttime temperatures do begin to climb. Right side of your screen right now, you'll see your temperatures that are in the lower 50s right now on the Cumberland Plateau, right near 60 if you get out toward our western counties. So think areas like Hopkinsville, Clarksville. You're up near 60 already. On our way to 79 degrees this afternoon, and then we slide back into the 80s and stay there into and out of the upcoming weekend.
Steer clear traffic gets us out and about. Let's get to I-24 Haywood Lane coming in from the Antioch area. We're doing really nice so far on the roads. No big problems in either direction. Looking really, really good here. We expect traffic to start to bunch up here and back up a little bit later in the morning. But right now, couldn't ask for a better drive situation. Woo! Get the sunglasses out for this drive on I-40 at Spence Lane. You should make that drive if you're going east this morning towards Mount Juliet, towards Wilson County. All these folks are going to need a visor or some sunglasses or something. For the folks coming inbound here, if you look in your rear view, you're maybe looking for a car behind you, but you may catch the sun rising. So again, make sure that you take that into account when you're out and about this morning.
In consumer news right now, talking about driving. If you've been holding off on buying a new vehicle, this summer could be your time.
Karen Kaifa on what industry experts are watching right now to try to save you some money.
This summer could finally be a good time to buy a new car.
One of the good news items for consumers is that inventory is abundant.
Supply chain disruptions during the COVID-19 pandemic crunched new auto inventories and sent new car prices skyrocketing. But according to Cox Automotive, dealers' new vehicle inventory is the highest it's been since late in 2020. And as dealers look to clear lots for next year's models in the fall, Brian Moody, senior editor at Auto Trader, says consumers have more options.
There's a little bit more new cars than used cars, but the reason that's good for consumers is because it offers the choice, the vehicle they want. And also when it comes to new cars, that means that there is the potential for greater incentives depending on which car you're shopping for.
0% financing deals for buyers with good credit are more common this year than last, according to Edmunds. Edmunds also finds average discounts on 2023 and 2024 model year vehicles more in line with pre-COVID prior year model discounts. But Brian Moody says deals will vary across makes, models, and location depending on what's on dealers' lots.
Research the incentives in your area because they can vary from zip code to zip code, and make sure that the car that you're looking for has the discount that you want. And if not, then go find one that does have a discount.
The best deals are likely to be had on slower selling models like sedans and hatchbacks, Moody says, rather than popular models like compact SUVs. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Intense video this morning shows the moments a sheriff's deputy patrol car gets T-boned. Watch here to see what happens next. This all going down in Santa Clarita, California. Gracious. The dash cam video from someone else's car captured the whole thing. The patrol car's coming through the intersection, gets T-boned, rolls, and then finally lands upright. Wow. You could see first responders taking that person off on a stretcher to an ambulance. We understand a sheriff's deputy also injured, but thankfully expected to be okay.
My goodness, that is so scary. From garbage warfare yesterday to another round of
years.
At 5:54, we're talking about international headlines. North Korea fired a barrage of suspected short-range ballistic missiles towards its eastern sea.
All right, so we are hearing a response from South Korea. The military there is saying that they detected all this from an area near their capital of Pyongyang. Japan's prime minister says they landed in waters outside of their exclusive economic zone. Comes after North Korea tried to launch a second military reconnaissance satellite earlier this week. You might remember when we told you about that. The satellite exploded, though, shortly after liftoff.
We're talking about cybercrimes right now. The Justice Department announcing an international bust yesterday, taking down what they say is one of the world's largest cybercrime botnets. It's a hijacked network of hijacked computers, which the DOJ believes was used to steal, get this, $5.9 billion in COVID relief funding.
Wow. Now, at the center of this network is a Chinese national who has been arrested in Singapore, accused of hijacking more than 19 million computers.
Oh my.
In some 200 countries. Again, they're saying that the person at the center of all this is a Chinese national arrested in Singapore. By the way, also accused of taking over 600,000 computers here in the U.S.
Well, from cybercrime to pandas, 2 giant pandas are going to be making their much anticipated return to Washington, D.C. this year. The 2-year-old giant pandas are set to arrive at the Smithsonian's National Zoo by the end of this year. It's through the zoo's Giant Panda Conservation Program in partnership with China. We talked about this. This comes after 3 giant pandas left the National Zoo last year. More giant pandas are set to arrive in other parts of the country. Good news. In California, zoos in both San Francisco and San Diego confirming they're also preparing to welcome the bears. So, Jen, the question is, what do we have to do to get those bears to the Nashville Zoo?
Ooh.
What deal can we strike?
Yeah, good question. I don't know. Taking a live look now from Texas, we go to San Antonio. Look at that beautiful live look there. Wow, that is a sunrise to behold. At the American flag flying there in the wind. You know, we know that so many of our friends and maybe even some of your family members have been dealing with destruction after storms that came through Texas over about the last week or two. So we know a lot of folks are in cleanup mode, but still just a gorgeous shot here to start your Thursday. Here at home, we still have people here cleaning up from storms and tornadoes, all of our friends in southern Kentucky. But the good news is we've got this stretch of nice weather that we've been able to get out and get some of that work done.
Truly, I mean, it's been nice since about Monday morning. Everything has calmed down for us. Here's our sunrise. You can't see the sun in this shot, but you can see there's barely a cloud in the sky. We're starting off again very much so like yesterday with temperatures right near between 50 and 60 degrees depending upon where you're at. So what do you wear this morning? Maybe a little sweater, but then have all the summer clothes later today because we're going to be almost identical, right near 80 degrees this afternoon. So short sleeve shirts, the dress, the shorts, the comfortable shoes, the flip-flops, whatever you want to do. Sunglasses. 100% needed for today, though, getting up and getting out the door. Temperature outlook here on May 30th here on this Thursday. And we're talking about, again, one of a cooler kind of start for this time of the year. We typically are not in the 50s leading into the first few days of June, which happens this weekend, but we'll take it because, again, these are few and far between. 54 degrees at 6, 57 degrees at 7, and 61 degrees at 8 o'clock, loaded with sunshine. You can always follow along on social media. Facebook, the best place to go to send in your dog of the day, which we will be meeting in the first check of the forecast as we go into our 6 o'clock half hour in just a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic gets us out the door at I-24 at Briley Parkway. This is over in Antioch. Traffic over there moving along really nicely. No big problems in either direction right now. Great way to end our 5 o'clock hour. Problems are sure to persist as we move into our 6 o'clock hour. But for right now, we're doing good. Coming in out of the Antioch area. We're going to watch some other areas of town coming up here in a few.
Justin, thank you. Earlier this morning, we talked about getting a job for teenagers. How about this? The No Buy Challenge is gaining popularity on social media, as always, as a way to cut down on overspending.
It's funny. I've done this personally without there being any kind of challenge where I'll just set aside certain days where I say, I'm not spending any money.
Yeah, budgeting.
Right. And so this is what, thank you, social media, for making it a so-called challenge, though. All right. Here's how it goes. You might say, all right, I'm not going to buy any fast food for a certain amount of time. Maybe it's a day, maybe it's a month, maybe it's a year. Maybe you are saying, I'm not going to buy any new clothes for a certain time period. Or maybe you just pick a day out of the week where you say, I'm not spending any money on this day, period. But there are financial experts who say, don't treat this like a financial fast of sorts, right? Because they say, if you deprive yourself for a certain period of time, you're more likely to binge spend when you're done.
Okay. Make it a
like
deliberate effort. Yeah, to work on financial stability. Common sense. And you can ultimately, they say, reap big rewards in the long run if you can stick to it. But admittedly, I can't go, a year without buying clothes. That would be very hard.
It'd be hard for us.
Yeah.
But like yesterday, for example, I had dedicated yesterday as a no spend day. I wasn't spending any money yesterday. And my husband called me on the way from baseball with our son and was like, hey, we're going to stop and grab some food on the way home. And I was like, well, okay.
Ruining my day. Okay. 6 o'clock hour is starting right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Thursday morning, Metro Police say a 13-year-old boy is dead and his sister hurt after a shooting near a popular Bellevue park. We're going to have the very latest on this investigation.
Yeah, we'll take you to the Red Caboose Park. I know a lot of you recognize that landmark. Plus, we're learning more about two people who were killed in Laverne. An update to the breaking news we first brought you yesterday.
And the forecast starting off your bright sunshine, low humidity, but everything begins to change in the next 48 hours when the first raindrops take us into the upcoming weekend. That's in your forecast.
Thank you so much for joining us here on a Thursday morning for Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We do begin with a developing story out of Bellevue where Metro Police have confirmed overnight that a 13-year-old boy has now died. His older sister has been injured in a shooting. I mentioned just a moment ago, this is at the Red Caboose Park, a popular park where families take their children. It's been there for years. It survived the rebuilding of the 2010 flood. I mean, this is a place that folks in Bellevue and beyond know very well.
We're getting some more updates right now from Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar talking about where this happened, that parking lot that you're standing in.
That's right. Police say that the shooting happened right here behind me in this parking lot at Red Caboose Park. And the newest information we have is that the suspect, who's 15 years old, is now in custody. And his name is DeAnthony Osasosifo. Police say it all started because a fight broke out between girls right near where I'm standing. And it happened a little before 8 o'clock last night. During the fight, they say someone pulled out a gun and a brother and sister were hit. They say the 13-year-old boy was taken to a nearby hospital and later died. He's been identified as Aiden Hayes. Police say the 16-year-old girl was also taken to the hospital but is expected to be okay. Here's Don Aaron with the Metro Police Department and his reaction.
This is a bad night for Nashville to have two teens, brother and sister, 16 and 13, being the victims of violent crime, and the 13-year-old is deceased.
The suspect is now being charged with criminal homicide and attempted criminal homicide. Reporting live here in Bellevue, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Mayor Freddie O'Connell responding to the shooting last night, writing in part, "My heart breaks tonight for the families who experienced firsthand the tragedy of gun violence in a park in Bellevue. I am grateful to first responders who immediately rendered aid, as well as the Metro police officers who quickly apprehended a possible suspect."
And we have an update this morning to breaking news that we first brought you yesterday. We've learned the identity of the victims, two people who were killed in Laverne. We go there now to show you where it happened at this apartment complex just off Murfreesboro Road. Metro Police identifying the victims as Raymond Delgado Jr. and Aaron Smith. Two adults and two 17-year-olds are now charged in that deadly shooting. One of the teens charged with murder. The other three charged with making a false report. We're told this investigation will continue.
More weather updates are coming into our newsroom. We now know 4 tornadoes touched down in Kentucky. It was during last weekend's severe weather outbreak. A 4th tornado was confirmed by the National Weather Service over in Cumberland County with wind speeds up to 95 miles per hour. The agency had previously confirmed 3 tornadoes in Monroe, Metcalfe, and Cumberland counties.
That is on top of several reports of straight line wind damage along Kentucky's southern border. Sending it over to Greg now to get an update on our forecast. Yes, rain coming in for the weekend, but no concern for severe storms.
None at all. But here's a face of concern, but also beauty. What do you mean rain for the weekend?
Distinction.
From my dog walk. What are you talking about, Greg Dovey? I'm telling you right now, first of all, fantastic fascinator. They call it a fascinator for a reason. So Renee, thank you for this photo you sent in here. The dog walk today looks good, so don't worry. We can keep the peaks of interest here when it comes to the forecast or the skepticism of rain moving in. That's not happening until tomorrow night into Saturday. Taking a look at our dog walking forecast, 57 degrees at 7, so we're a little bit cooler than yesterday morning. 60s from 8 o'clock all the way through 10, and then we get back to the 70-degree mark. We'll continue that climb all the way up to 80, but no rain anywhere in the forecast today or tomorrow during our daylight hours. It'll be overnight tomorrow night. How do you get us your dog of the day? Very easy. Same way we've been doing it here since about a year and a half ago. Taking a look, you go to Facebook, meteorologist Greg Bobus. You find that pinned post at the top. Debbie kind of looks like my little Obie over there. She'll get your picture to me, and that's how you see it right here on Fox 17 News this morning. Taking a look, though, as far as the forecast goes, any outdoor activity this morning going to be good. Like I mentioned, though, we're up near 80 for the middle of the afternoon, so that's a little warm for you here. Wait till later in the day if you don't get the outdoor stuff done early today.
Steer clear traffic at 6:05. Quick look here at what we're dealing with at I-24 at I-65 just north of downtown. You can see how traffic is making its way in. It's slow coming down from that north and west side. So heads up out there coming in from Jolton, from Whites Creek. This is you as you approach Broadley Parkway and eventually down towards Trinity Lane. Things are already rolling slow there in that area right at the junction. Let's take a look at the overall drive times right now. Not too bad overall. 25 minutes in from Mount Juliet, 57, getting closer to an hour from Murfreesboro, 26 minutes in from Hendersonville, at least for now.
Developing right now, Metro Police are investigating a fire and assault. It happened at a Nolensville Pike business.
Yeah, police and fire showed up at this clothing store along Nolensville Pike near Haywood yesterday. You can see it's at a strip mall here. Several people first called police to report an assault at that clothing shop. And then minutes later, they started getting more calls about a fire at the same location. So when they got there, they found smoke and flames coming from a bathroom. Metro Police still looking for whoever was involved in that report.
.08 is the time. If you drink water, use the roads, have ever had need of a police officer or fire department, then the city budget, no matter where you live, it's going to impact you because your city tax dollars pay for all of those services. Well, right now, the city of Nashville is trying to figure out how they want to spend $3.2 billion. That is how much this year's budget is going to be. Now, one Metro Council member wants to give $2 million extra dollars to the Nashville Fire Department. Now, the reason for that is she recently took a tour of her local firehouse and was shocked at what she saw.
We don't have the state-of-the-art equipment, and as Nashville's growing, these scenes are getting a lot more dangerous and stuff. A lot of their equipment's broke, outdated. I just threw a number out there. I didn't have a specific list of anything. Just go out and talk to your firemen. And as Nashville's growing, they need better equipment, guys. There's so much stuff broke that they don't have at different engine stations.
Well, the council will need to approve the entire budget by the end of June. There are other things that the council is looking at, including some help at eviction court. We're going to tell you more about that in our 7 o'clock hour.
I think there should be restrictions to short-term rentals.
In Operation Crime and Justice, more crime is now being linked to short-term rentals. This is an issue we've been dealing with here in Metro Nashville for many years now. The latest issue involves a 15-year-old who was shot at a party on Ellinston Place on Tuesday night. Now, Metro Police are calling this crime, and they say it came in just after midnight at a trendy apartment complex there on Ellinston Place. Police say it was an 18-year-old woman who told detectives that a group of friends rented the apartment through a short-term rental company for something called a glow party. But the party got out of hand. Officers say a fight broke out, and a 15-year-old boy ended up being shot. Now, he was taken to Vanderbilt Medical Center. He's in critical condition. Neighbors say this is not the first time they've had to deal with things like this.
Half of the building or a third of the building is Airbnb. There's sketchy people walking around. There's parties all the time. Beer cans left around in the hallways.
Well, it was just last month when a 15-year-old was arrested accused in a shooting at a birthday party at another short-term rental. That one was on Youngs Lane on the north side of town. One person was killed in that situation.
The sun is up and temperatures are climbing, but going into the weekend, we replaced the sunshine with our first showers and storms in about 5 days. We'll time it out in your forecast.
Steer clear traffic takes us to the north side, 65 at Trinity Lane. Nice drive so far, but things are only going to get worse from here, not better, unfortunately. I'm going to tell you the best ways to steer clear of anything in your way. Plus, tackling.
His Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Sarah Chevrolet Buick GMC of Nashville.
Well, happening today, jury deliberations are resuming in former President Donald Trump's criminal hush money trial. We've been following this out of New York. The panel of 12 New Yorkers deliberated for about 4.5 hours yesterday after receiving jury instructions. And they asked the judge to go ahead and repeat the instructions, also to play testimony from 2 of the witnesses once again.
Now, David Pecker and Michael Cohen involved here. The jury tasked with determining whether the former president is guilty of 34 counts of falsifying business records related to those alleged hush money payments before the 2016 presidential election. Mr. Trump has denied any wrongdoing. We understand that folks will be gathering outside of the courthouse again this morning in New York City. We'll be there. We will keep you posted on all of the updates just as soon as they start coming in.
Back here in Middle Tennessee, we're covering the high cost of homelessness once again. City leaders pledging $50 million pandemic relief dollars to address Nashville's homeless crisis. And they've been working at it for years.
Yeah, but recent data shows that chronic homelessness is up by 40%. Fox 17 News investigator Amanda Chin sits down with the director of Metro's Office of Homeless Services to find out why.
As Nashville continues to get more people, the challenge of addressing homelessness continues to grow. Recent data showing an apparent increase in chronic homelessness may confuse many, but city leaders view it differently.
The largest investment Nashville's ever made to address homelessness. It's a phrase we've been hearing for several years now.
How effective do you feel this $50 million investment has been for the city?
I think overall it has been very effective. We have been able to address 4 encampments, housing 189 individuals, whether it's temporary housing options, permanent housing solutions, with a 90% success rate.
That means 90% of the folks housed have either remained connected to temporary housing or permanent housing. The funding is specifically meant to address chronic homelessness, those who have not lived in a home for at least a year. However, recent data from the Office of Homeless Services shows there's a more than 40% increase in chronic homelessness.
What message would you have for folks who may view these percentage increases and don't fully understand the program and this investment that the city's been putting in?
$50 million over a 3-year time span. That is a lot of money, but it's really a drop in the bucket.
Calvin says with the data, several things have changed since she's been director.
We haven't reached a baseline in our data. Second, you're going to see more changes because we are incentivizing and paying for the Nashville Rescue Mission to enter their data into our database. And for over 10 years, that data has never been entered into our database.
Calvin adds there are more outreach workers at encampments where folks who have been living outside for more than 5 years are just now getting added to the system. She believes it'll take about 1.5 years to reach a baseline for chronic homelessness. That's when it would be fair game to talk about any increase.
Coming up Thursday night on Fox 17 News, we dig into specifics on how the $50 million is being used and where we go from here. Reporting in the studio, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Taking a look at some international headlines now on this Thursday morning. Check this out. A volcano in Iceland has now erupted for the 5th time since December. The visuals here, unbelievable.
Whoa, it began in the early afternoon following a series of earthquakes. According to the Icelandic Meteorological Office, the volcano shot lava 165 feet into the air. Authorities say the coastal town of Greenbrier was evacuated, though many residents had already been forced out because of previous damage because of the eruptions. In fact, the Blue Lagoon Spa, which is a popular tourist destination, that was evacuated earlier in the day. Thank goodness they got out of there. The eruption, though, so far not impacting air travel for any of folks who are perhaps heading there this summer.
Man, it sure is a sight to see there. Wow. 6:18, coming back here closer to home and taking a look at any weather concerns that might be popping up on the radar for us as we go into the weekend.
Yeah, weekend for sure. Definitely going to be hit and miss when it comes to a few showers and storms. It's not going to be washing out any part of it, but maybe you need to get the car washed here between now and then. I would say go for it today or tomorrow. Now, it will be a little unsettled for the weekend. We're not guaranteeing that everyone gets rain Saturday and Sunday, but there will be a few isolated showers and storms that do creep into the radar. Very weak in nature. No severe weather, no strong storms, but just some rain that does reintroduce itself here after taking about a week's vacation for us here. Wash today, wash tomorrow. Kind of play it by ear on Saturday if you don't get it done before then. As far as everything else that has to do with water, of course, our gardens still need a little bit of love here. We're finally getting into a drier stretch to where watering becomes our responsibility until Saturday. 67 degrees at 9 a.m., 77 at noon, and 80 degrees at 3 p.m. When to water is always a big question because there are certain times of the day where it really helps and there are some times where it's actually hurtful for your plants out there. I would say every day, that hour or two right around or just after sunrise, good. All the red hours here, though, the peak heating, the peak sunshine, you don't want to do it at that point because it actually could end up hurting the plants more than it helps. Everything begins to evaporate before it gets absorbed. Then also the hour or two right before sunset. So today that'd be about 6, 7 o'clock. Then you're in a pretty good place. Don't do it after sunset. Where do you go to reach out if you want to? Whether it's submitting your dog of the day, we met our amazing dog today about 18 minutes ago, or you can go to our X pages on Twitter. That's where you'll go to get severe weather updates in real time. You can follow myself, Chief Meteorologist Katie Morgan, and also Brett Luna. We'll have you covered 24/7 whenever any rough weather does move in. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast and 2 more fantastic days before everything does get back into a more active pattern. So we'll call today 79 degrees. Right now we're starting off right side of your screen with temperatures that are in the 50s to near 60. Taking a look overnight tonight, down to 55. 84 degrees your temperature tomorrow, and then we'll keep the 80s into the upcoming weekend and out of the weekend. As of right now, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday through Wednesday, we don't see any chances for severe weather in the forecast, but the humidity comes back in and the warmer overnight temperatures hover right near 70 going into next week.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get you out to I-24 at the I-65 junction north of town. That is where we're seeing a bit of a slowdown as you make that drive in from Whites Creek and from Jolton down towards the city of Nashville. This is right before you get to the Briley Parkway area there at the junction. So heads up on that particular drive. You can try to take Brick Church Pike if you want to try and steer clear. Clarksville Pike also can help some of you on that particular drive. Once you get past that, it continues to be slow. This is 65 at Trinity Lane. Again, on that north side where things continue to be slow. By the time you get here, for some of those coming from the direct north of town, Madison, Hendersonville, Goodlettsville, you could try to use Ellington Parkway. This is a good time to try that to steer clear of any slowdowns there on 65.
Justin, thank you. Happening now, MTSU putting its money where its mouth is, you could say, in an attempt to address the statewide teacher shortage we've been experiencing.
They just enrolled 3 new students in what they're calling their SCORE program. All right, we're going to explain what the SCORE program is. These students that we're showing you photos of are going to train at the College of Education for free. In return, they agree to teach in their local communities. 25 students are signed up for the Tennessee Teach Back Initiative, and that begins this fall.
Oh, we have updates on the drama that unfolded within the PGA match up in Louisville about a week or so ago. Scotty Scheffler responding after a Louisville prosecutor decides to drop the charges against him. Well, here this morning, making headlines right now. All the charges have now been dropped against the world's #1 golfer, Scotty Scheffler.
This was a huge story just a few weeks ago. He was facing felony charges and 3 misdemeanors following his arrest outside of the PGA Championship nearly 2 weeks ago. Now, we're told he was accused of driving around the scene of a deadly accident that happened just outside of the Valhalla Golf Club there in Louisville. And sometime during that particular situation, he was accused of dragging an officer while going around that particular barrier. However, yesterday, the case was dropped at the request of the prosecution's office.
You may remember we had video that came out about a week ago showing the arresting officer, Detective Brian Gillis, running up and hitting the window of Scheffler's car. Let's listen.
In this case, they didn't have any leverage because A, we had eyewitnesses, B, we had video, and C, Scotty had the resources to defend it. That changes everything.
All right, so following the court's decision, Scheffler did release a statement about this whole thing, saying in part, quote, "I hold no ill will toward Officer Gillis. I wish to put this incident behind me and move on, and I hope he will do the same."
Big story at one point, so it's all come to an end now.
Hey, if you're trying to get outside today, maybe enjoy some time by the pool. We've got your pool forecast and really looking so good. 10 o'clock this morning, 54 degrees, 2 p.m. 72, up to 79 by 5 o'clock this afternoon. The UV index will probably be in the high category, so if you're trying to get a little bit of a suntan, there you go. Also, don't get burned. And keep it here to Fox 17 News this morning. We'll get a closer look at your forecast with Greg here in just a couple minutes.
Low humidity today. That is the good news. Here is your steer clear traffic at 626. Quick look outside to I-24 Waldron Road. This is out there in Rutherford County. Good morning, Laverne. This is good old exit 64 out there as you make that drive into town. Things are starting to bunch up and slow down here. Not nearly as slow as it can be at this particular exit, and probably not nearly as slow as it will be coming up here in the next 30 minutes or so. We haven't hit peak yet, but we're just over an hour on the drive now coming in from Murfreesboro. No major accidents. That's the good news. Everything we're dealing with right now is just congestion as people get out on the roads.
At 6:27 right now, we have a 13-year-old boy who is dead. His older sister is in the hospital after police say they got shot at the Red Caboose Park in Bellevue. We'll have an update in minutes.
Other news this morning involving a foreclosure scam. We're going to tell you why authorities say.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Right now, Fox 17 News talking about crime in one North Nashville neighborhood. How local businesses are now working to cut down on crime in this area specifically.
Low humidity and sunshine on tap for your Thursday. Hope your day's off to a beautiful start. Great shot here of the sun coming up over Middle Tennessee. We'll take a look at your forecast for your Thursday, your Friday, plus that chance for rain as we get into the weekend. And a big good morning to you. Glad you're with us here for Fox 17 News this morning. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
Happy Thursday. I'm Erica Glover. Right now, we're continuing to follow developing news out of Bellevue, a very popular park. That's where police say a 13-year-old boy was killed and his sister was hurt during a shooting.
Yeah, the Red Caboose Park, now the scene of a crime. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us from Red Caboose Park, where it all happened.
Police say the suspect has now been identified as D. Anthony Osesosifo, and he's been arrested in connection from last night's shooting that police say happened right here behind me in this parking lot at Red Caboose Park in Bellevue. You can see that a police officer is still on scene, and he tells me that the 13-year-old boy was found on the pavement in that corner to my left. Police say that boy was taken to the hospital and later died after being shot by the suspect. He's been identified as 13-year-old Aiden Hayes. Police say that it all started because a fight broke out between girls in the park a little before 8 o'clock last night. During the fight, they say the suspect pulled out a gun and the brother and sister were hit. Police say Hayes' 16-year-old sister was also taken to the hospital but is expected to be okay. The family is surely grieving over the loss of Hayes. Here's Don Aaron with the Metro Police Department answering how the fight could have started.
At this point in the investigation, we need to determine whether the girls, the females who were involved in the initial fight, came here for the purpose of fighting.
The suspect is being charged with criminal homicide and attempted criminal homicide. Reporting in Bellevue, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Sadly, not the only killing that we've been following over the last 24 hours. Metro Police now say a convicted felon is charged with murder in connection to a deadly shooting that happened last fall.
They say Nakavelius Featherston was arrested yesterday and charged with first-degree murder. Officers say Featherston shot and killed Anthony Barksdale back in November. It happened at the Hermitage apartment complex. He has previous convictions for aggravated burglary and evading arrest out of Rutherford County. He also has pending assault charges in Nashville.
We go to North Nashville right now, where neighbors are speaking out, trying to address crime and safety concerns at one intersection in particular. It's been so bad at this one intersection, they called an emergency meeting with Metro Police and community leaders just yesterday to bring this all to the forefront. The intersection at hand here, Buchanan Street and Clarksville Highway. Police say they know this area well. Frequent loitering, attracting drug dealers, and crime. Lawyers for a liquor store at this intersection say a lot of people are blaming the liquor store for the crime, but they say the store isn't the only problem.
The biggest problem in the neighborhood is the abandoned property across the street, which is where most of the bad activity is taking place.
Well, police say it's up to local businesses like the liquor store to crack down on loitering in the area. However, police also say they have responded to incidents at the liquor store and the market at more than 1,000 times over the past year. The liquor store says they have added more lighting and even hired security guards to help manage any issues.
Here we are, 6:34, taking a look at your forecast. The big three things to know taking us into the upcoming weekend is that we've got another cool start here to this morning with some sunshine. 2 more rain-free days today and tomorrow before we get a little more active for the weekend. It's not raining every hour by any means or even close to it for Saturday and Sunday, but there will be a few showers and isolated storms that will pop up starting overnight Friday night into Saturday. In the meantime, we've got more sunshine for the entire day. High temperatures very similar to yesterday. Upper 70s near 80 degrees. We're all clear when it comes to code red. We're going to keep it that way even when the weekend thunderstorms do return to the forecast. They'll be sub-severe and they will really be very hit and miss. A lot of the activity we saw this past weekend were those lines of storms that moved in. That's not how this is going to play out for us. These will be pop-ups that really quickly arrive and then very quickly fizzle out. 79 degrees this afternoon, 84 degrees tomorrow. We will look at future track and time out that rain for Friday night into Saturday and Sunday so we can start planning our upcoming weekend. That's coming your way in a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic gets us out the door this morning at I-24 at Oak Hickory Boulevard. This is down the Antioch area. You can get by out there. Traffic is wide open, looking nice. We did have a slowdown out here a short time ago, but things are much better now. Unsure exactly what was slowing things up, but it's out of the way now. Here's a look at what you're dealing with as far as your drive times are concerned. 71 minutes coming down from Clarksville, 72 minutes coming down from Murfreesboro, so now over an hour, 35 minutes from Hendersonville. That slowdown coming down from Clarksville has to do with the crash right at the Whites Creek Pike exit 35. It's got things shut down to 1 lane in that area. No cameras, but we're seeing the slowdown for sure.
Justin, thank you. New this morning, an identity theft may have been behind a recent scheme to foreclose Elvis Presley's iconic mansion.
Yeah, the thief reportedly from Nigeria.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this last week, taking live looks at Graceland. Now we're getting the details. Reports say a self-proclaimed identity thief who claims to be from Nigeria, like Jen just said, is taking responsibility for the scam.
It's crazy because this person said the goal here was to steal Graceland and then sell it at auction.
What?
Reports say that this thief also claims to have stolen other identities. The mansion was set to go to auction following claims of failed loan payments, but Elvis Presley's granddaughter, Riley Koff, prevented the sale by suing the company for fraud. Think about what would have happened had she not stepped in.
Right. Thank goodness she was watching.
Yeah.
Well, just ahead, we have a warning for Nissan drivers. We're going to explain why the company is asking folks with older models of the Nissans not to drive until their car repairs are made.
Distribution problems for one popular dollar chain. We understand that
6:39 is the time. Live look this morning across downtown Nashville, Tennessee. Things looking nice out there so far this morning. Not a cloud in the sky. Greg Bobus will be along to tell us about low humidity. So it's not just the temperatures in the 70s or 80s here. You won't sweat as much, we think, out there with temperatures like this.
Happening right now, we have folks who are being warned not to drive older Nissan vehicles. In fact, the warning from Nissan right now is to stop driving certain older models immediately because of airbag concerns. Now, what we're taking a look at here is the Takata airbag, and any older Nissan that still has the Takata airbag should be parked until you can get repairs made.
The warning covers around 84,000 vehicles out there for Nissan. More than 100 million Takata airbags have inflators that have been recalled over the last decade. The agency says that the defective airbags can explode in a car crash and potentially cause injuries or even worse, death. So they're putting that warning out there for the Nissan drivers. If you know your car still has one of these airbags, take it somewhere where it can be replaced.
Yeah, I mean, Justin, I can think back to the early 2000s when we first started reporting on these Takata airbags, like around 2003.
Yeah, from Japan.
Here we are today, still with those concerns. Hey, take a look at your screen. This video is wild. Coming to us this morning from a Dollar Tree distribution center in Oklahoma that got hit by an EF4 tornado in April, and we've learned this morning it will not reopen. A company spokesperson says all employees are going to be paid up through middle June and will get severance and benefits packages. But this warehouse in Marietta employs more than 450 people. The company says, thankfully, none of them were hurt during that EF4 tornado.
The power of this storm as it completely ripped that thing open and just started pouring and pulling things out. You can even see some of those tractor trailers on their side or stacked on top of other ones like building blocks.
Well, and too, what's impressive to me is when you look at just row after row after row of all of the inventory that is stacked in that warehouse. Certainly, thank goodness, no injuries, but impact to a high level of how they get items to Dollar Tree stores across the country. Supply chain issues, don't be surprised.
If you're running short on your favorite item, this could be why.
Your Dollar Tree and you're seeing some issues. All right, let's check on the forecast now, 6:42, and here's Greg.
Yeah, back home here, we're just dealing with more sunshine, a little fog in a couple of spots here. So weather impact on traffic this morning, that's the only thing we're watching out for. Not seeing much of it here when it comes to reduced visibility, but you get outside of downtown, there are a couple of areas where it's popped up. It will definitely lift by the time we get to 9 o'clock, though. So it's only the short term. Use the low beams even when the sun is up like this whenever you do encounter some fog, and grab the sunglasses before you head out. How's the airport looking? Taking a look here. Temperature 68 degrees at 9 o'clock, 78 at noon, and then 80 degrees will be your temperature at 3 p.m. Our forecast back home should not be a problem for your flights today or tomorrow. 55 degrees, though, the temperature right now, and only a handful of delays that are out there. My curious question for you that we'll answer in about 5 minutes. Listen up. McDonald's once made a bubblegum version of what? Bubblegum flavored version of what food? French fries, chicken nuggets, hamburgers, or broccoli? It's coming your way in 5 minutes.
Here, I thought milkshake was going to be one of the options.
Nope.
All right, let's take a look at your steer clear traffic while you ponder that. This is going to be I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway as you make your way out of the Antioch area. Things in that location looking okay, a little slow here and there, but overall nothing huge. We'll continue to watch the traffic for you live through 9.
We were just showing you tornado damage in Oklahoma. We take you to Texas in minutes, where thousands of people are.
Nissan.
Talking about wicked weather right now, hundreds of thousands of people out in Texas are still without power, and it could stay that way for days.
Yeah, deadly storms coming through that state Tuesday and even over the holiday weekend. They have just had one round after the other. Laura Aguirre shows us a lot of people are just trying to cope with, the cleanup efforts on top of people who have lost everything, including family members.
This is a multi-day event just to get the power back on.
Not the news many Texans living in storm-battered counties want to hear as they face a long recovery from devastating property damage with temperatures rising. At one point Tuesday, over 1 million customers in that state were without electricity, according to poweroutage.us. Crews have been making progress, but hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses remain without service Wednesday.
We're doing food distribution and cooling shelters, but it's really tough on those people who have been without power.
Texas was among the hardest hit states in a wave of deadly storms that moved through the central and southern U.S. over Memorial Day weekend. More punishing storms Tuesday blew in on wind gusts that neared 80 miles an hour.
And all of a sudden, like, boom, everything just fell down.
We just heard ruckus everywhere around us, so, we rushed in the bathroom.
These residents survived but are out of a home. Their apartments declared uninhabitable by local authorities. Closer to Houston, a 16-year-old worker was killed when a severe thunderstorm toppled a home under construction in Magnolia, confirmed the fire department there.
There's a possibility of more storms in the next couple of days, and so we may see more damage that'll have to be fixed.
Forecasters are tracking more severe storms for the central U.S. Thursday, from Texas north through the Dakotas. I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
6:47 is the time right now, and here at home, thankfully, we are not even close to being in a code red weather alert for what's coming this weekend.
Yeah.
But, you might have to dodge some showers here and there if you got outdoor plans.
Yeah, a couple of them here and then. We'll take a look at the timing when they move in and just really how sporadic they're going to be. It's not a washout either day. Honestly, most of us might not even get much of anything.
And right now, Greg, it's just gorgeous. I mean, the
low humidity.
It is nice. The hair is cooperating.
Yes.
It's not, you don't get all sweaty and nasty outside.
Yeah, and it might be a good day to have the windows down in the car, maybe roll through a drive-through.
I've done that the last couple days.
Absolutely. Curious question time ties into that drive-through. All right, here we go. McDonald's once made a bubblegum flavored version of what food? French fries, chicken nuggets, hamburgers, or broccoli?
I'm changing my answer to C.
You're going hamburgers?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going with broccoli just because I feel like that would be the one food that most people would think tastes the worst.
Okay, so we have hamburgers.
I mean, I love broccoli. Eric
Yeah.
and I both said we love broccoli.
Yeah, I love broccolini.
It is broccoli.
What? See, I'm not changing my answer.
It never made it to it never made it to a menu for one reason.
Okay.
They made it in a test lab just to kind of see how it would work.
Sure.
To try to get kids to eat healthier. And the kids in the focus group went, "What in the world is this bubblegum
It's gotta
flavored?"
be awful.
Terrible. The kids hated it. Never made it on the menu, but they tried.
Healthy gum? Okay.
Right,
Hey, you
I
know what you're better
thing.
off putting on your broccoli if you don't love the way it tastes?
Butter.
Butter, salt, pepper,
Mhm.
Parmesan cheese, and lemon.
Yum.
That's for me lunch later on today. Here we go. 76 degrees at 11, 78 at noon, 79 at 1 p.m. Sunny all day long. Right side of your screen, your current temps are in the 50s.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Here's a storm captured as it formed over Greencastle, Missouri Sunday evening. It eventually packed a punch with gusty winds and dropped hail the size of ping pong balls. Under this blanket of leaves and hail is a road. This covering was left behind after a storm Monday in Virginia. And a view of a distant storm over the Wasatch Mountains, complete with mammatus clouds and an anvil.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
Well, let's talk about clear traffic at I-40 at Donaldson Pike out there near the airport. If you've got a flight this morning, dropping someone off, picking someone up, you can get by out there. It is not causing major delays near the airport this morning. We're doing okay. Let's take a look at other areas of town, including your drive times. How about that? Clarksville to downtown at 81 minutes. We continue to run into a problem up there near exit 35. That's slowing things down. You can take Clarksville Pike to steer clear. 76 minutes coming in from Murfreesboro, 35 minutes in from Hendersonville.
You hear that sound? You know we're about to talk Titans wide receiver room getting one of the biggest makeovers this offseason. And head coach Brian Callahan is ready to get things rocking after several big names have been added to the roster.
Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick has more on the new wide receiver core and how they're building chemistry heading into minicamp.
Tennessee Titans done with the installation part of their new offense, and new wide receiver Calvin Ridley says he already loves this new system, especially because of the amount of passing that is involved with head coach Brian Callahan's new offense. Ridley also noting that this is a wide receiver room with a lot of potential. Of course, he brings years of experience to the table, but also Tyler Boyd signing with the Titans this offseason and DeAndre Hopkins returning for a second year as well. Ridley saying that this is a talented group and they're putting in the work right now during OTAs.
Feel good. It looks like we're going to be throwing it pretty good. I love to get the ball. Love the way they're using me so far. Moving around pretty good. Yeah, we got all of it in so far. You know, we got to run through it a couple more times, but I feel like we're gelling pretty good this far in.
He's everything that you would expect him to be. He's a great pro. He's a phenomenal person to be around. He's incredibly talented. You see his speed and his burst when you watch him on the field. I think he's really going to help us, and he's a pro's pro.
Titans third-year wideout Traylon Burks enters a crucial year with the team after battling injuries his first 2 seasons. He says a year under his belt gives him more confidence, and he's also enjoyed the veteran presence of Tyler Boyd and Calvin Ridley.
You would think with everybody being like #1 receivers in the room, there would be confusion, arguing. No, it's not like that. It's big brotherhood. We have fun, we laugh, we joke. When we get on the field, we know it's work. And, you know, when somebody messes up on a route or can critique a route, when we come back to the huddle, you know, one of us is there to, you know, do that. And, you know, that's what you want in a receiver room because it brings a lot of confidence and, you know, we just have fun with it.
Titans wrapping up OTAs this week, and then it's mandatory minicamp next week. Head coach Brian Callahan saying the biggest difference next week will be, one, that it's mandatory for the team, but also they'll have more freedom with time and more freedom with what they can do, including 7-on-7 drills. Reporting from the Titans practice facility, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Jill, thank you. Assessing the nation's bridges. Researchers say they're taking a look at bridge safety after the deadly collapse over in Baltimore. Gonna explain that.
Still to come on Fox 17 News in our 7 o'clock hour. That's when we begin our live local news coverage for the...
A quick look at the sunrise. You're definitely going to want to have your sunglasses and just get out there and enjoy this low humidity. Showers are in the forecast for Friday, so we're going to have Greg Bobus explain the timeline. Also showers next week, which is when CMA Fest kicks off. So he's got you covered. He's going to lay out everything you need to know.
So Johns Hopkins University is typically known for doing medical research and studies, and they've got a big hospital in Baltimore. But now Johns Hopkins University researchers are assessing our nation's bridges. This is following the deadly collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge.
It's interesting. So a team of faculty members and students are going to concentrate on large bridges near crucial entry ports across the country. It's not limited to one spot in particular. They're going to build model bridges to examine the probability of a similar ship incident. Johns Hopkins officials say they hope policymakers will then use their assessment for future infrastructure investments and also upgrades. Preliminary findings are expected to be released at the end of the summer.
The complete assessment, though, could take up to a year. You know, I'm still waiting to find out what, if anything, they know about the people on board. You know, there were reports early on that the FBI was getting involved to find out whether a crime had been committed here, whether something was done intentionally. Hopefully we'll get some of those answers here soon.
Right now, though, look at this. A thunderstorm turned out to be a striking background for this Kansas couple's wedding photos. Yeah. Well, they say that Michaela Shores and Trapper.
Yeah, Trapper is his name.
Wow. Okay. Celebrated their wedding with some less than favorable weather rolling in. But instead of running away from the storm, Jen, the couple said they went ahead and told their photographer to take the photos.
Go for it. Talk about a silver lining, right? The end result, stunning pictures that they'll have forever. And, you know, it's interesting because the couple says these pictures represent not only their wedding day, but their relationship in the way of, you know, yeah, you might go through some storms in life, but ultimately it's all beautiful.
Yeah, talk about rolling with the punches. Also, I think that if they can both agree to, hey, let's just get going and make the best of it, y'all are going to really make it work.
They'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be all right. All right, a few minutes before 7 o'clock right now. Greg, did that story
inspire you in any way?
No.
Y'all, hey, Greg's getting married this year.
You get married outside.
And he's got an outdoor wedding.
And I'm the weatherman.
Hey.
If I screw this up, I don't know what's going to happen. It's not going to look like that, I'll tell you that much. Take a look here. No rain today or tomorrow. I'm not even kidding. I have to make sure it doesn't rain that day. Taking a look here. No rain today or tomorrow. Yes to mowing the lawn. Get it done because Saturday and Sunday hit and miss showers and weak storms will be on the radar for you. We've got 2 more good evenings, so you can once again fire up the grill later on today and be completely carefree. No humidity. Temperatures this evening will keep us in the 70s. Here's a look at future track. A couple of clouds today. That will be it. And then a few clouds tomorrow. But we're going to halt you here tomorrow night into Saturday morning. Here's midnight. A few showers and weak storms. We've got yellows, oranges, and reds telling you some decent downpours in a few spots. You can see how hit and miss this is through Saturday morning into the afternoon. Nothing like this past weekend, but have the rain gear on. You just prepare for the possibility of a few showers and weak rumbles of thunder.
Greg, thank you. Steer clear traffic time right now at 6:59, and things overall looking pretty good here on a Thursday morning. We do have a live look now from I-24 at Harding Place, looking, interestingly enough, nice and smooth here to kick off your Thursday morning. No problems on that commute from Antioch right now. Seeing a couple of delays over by the airport, nothing major. Also seeing a big slowdown on I-24 to the west of Jolton. So this would be in between Pleasant View and the Jolton exit for Whites Creek Pike. Can't tell if there's a crash just yet, but heads up on that. You could take Highway 41 as an alternate.
Well, tomorrow marks World No Tobacco Day. The annual Health World Organization campaign is designed to sound the alarm over the potentially deadly effects of using tobacco. There is some new research from this organization revealing roughly 37 million teenagers use tobacco products. So when it comes to e-cigarettes, the report says many countries are now seeing higher use among kids than adults. Something experts attribute to the availability of tempting flavors. Stay with us, though. Our 7 o'clock hour is starting right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Right now on Fox 17 News This Morning, Metro Police confirm a 13-year-old boy has died. His older sister is in the hospital. after a shooting at the Red Caboose Park in Bellevue. The latest updates on the investigation.
Forecast dry once again this morning, but leading into the weekend, showers, storms, humidity, they all return. We'll time it all out coming up in your forecast.
Steer clear traffic takes us to I-40. That's at Fesser's Lane, just east of downtown. We're doing okay so far. We'll give you the latest drive times.
7 o'clock on the dot. Thank you so much for waking up with Fox 17 News on a Thursday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We always have you covered live and local through 9. And our top local headline this hour takes us to Bellevue, where developing this morning, we have now learned the names of both the suspect and one of the victims in last night's shooting at the Red Caboose Park in Bellevue. This is the shooting that left a 13-year-old boy dead and his sister hurt.
They all say it started with a fight that broke out in the parking lot of the Red Caboose Park a little before 8 o'clock last night. And during the fight, police say someone pulled out a gun and a brother and sister were hurt. Well, police say the 13-year-old boy was taken to a nearby hospital and later died. He has been identified as Aiden Hayes.
Police say the 16-year-old sister also went to the hospital but is expected to make a recovery. Now let's get to the information about the suspected shooter here and the weapon used. You're looking at a picture of the weapon right here. According to police, a 15-year-old named D'Anthony Osasasofio is now in custody. Police say they found him walking along Highway 70 a half mile from the park. Police tweeted out this picture saying one of their canines sniffed out this gun along the path between Red Caboose Park and where they found that 15-year-old suspect. He is currently charged with criminal homicide and attempted criminal homicide. We're working to get more updates from police, so we'll bring those to you as they come in.
Yeah, we're also sharing this message from Mayor Freddie O'Connell, who responded to the shooting last night, writing in part, and we're sharing the message right here on your screen. My heart breaks tonight for the families who experienced firsthand the tragedy of gun violence in a park in Bellevue. I am grateful to first responders who immediately rendered aid, as well as the Metro police officers who quickly apprehended a possible suspect. Again, that statement, though, from the mayor is from last night.
7:03, looking at your forecast here, getting into a Thursday morning and continuing our weather pattern just like it was the last 2 days. Another great day. We have temperatures right side of your screen that are in the 50s, 80 degrees later on this afternoon, but the countdown is on for two things: when the humidity returns and when showers and storms come back onto the radar. And we'll look at both of those for you. Right now, though, look at this. Some bright blue sky once again, plenty of sun, and we're going to keep the arrows all clear for code red even when the storms do come back in for the weekend. We're not worried about any severe weather in the forecast. And yeah, we do have that sun coming down on Lower Broadway, 60 degrees right now, and it will continue to get about a degree or two warmer for the next 3 or 4 hours before that push toward 80 later on in the middle of the afternoon. And here is that hour-by-hour breakdown: 62 degrees about an hour from now, 68 at 9, lower 70s at 10, and then upper 70s to right near 80 for the entirety of the upcoming afternoon. Again, loaded with sun from start to finish. 84 degrees will be your high temperature tomorrow, 83 on Saturday. Humidity rising, temperatures getting a little warmer. Nighttime temperatures significantly warmer in the 60s. We'll talk about the humidity in a little more depth, pollen counts as well, and work you through future track for your weekend coming up in the next check of your COVID forecast.
Steer clear traffic gets us out to I-65 at Boers Lane. This is down in the Franklin area. The camera has a sort of a delay in it, but the traffic does not. It is moving along really well out there. We do expect things to crowd up and slow down a little bit later, but right now we're doing okay. Here's the overall drive times right now as you make your way in. Clarksville, 81 minutes. We're still dealing with that crash up there near Whites Creek Pike exit 35, so heads up on that. 77 minutes in from Murfreesboro, 44 minutes in from Mount Juliet. A lot of this is just congestion, not a lot of accidents right now. Watch out for the sun glare as well.
Well, a North Nashville community is calling for more to be done by city and state leaders to address the continuous crime at a specific intersection of Buchanan Street and Dr. D.B. Todd Jr. Boulevard.
That is where we find Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live right now to tell us some of the biggest concerns and what they've been seeing. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning.
They say that they're seeing a lot of drug dealers and substance abuse. We previously reported that police had been called more than 1,000 times to that liquor store behind me, Northwest Liquor and Market, in the past year alone for crimes. And that's just some of the crime around here impacting businesses. The high crime had neighborhood advocates hold a virtual meeting with community stakeholders, calling it a public safety crisis. In the meeting, Commander Anthony McLean says loitering attracts drug dealers and substance abuse. He also says the reason why drug dealers come to the area is because they have a clientele base where all they have to do is sit on the corner and the clients come to them. Adam Dredd, the attorney for the Northwest Liquor Store and Market that is sick of the crime, outlines what he believes is the biggest problem.
The biggest problem in the neighborhood is the abandoned property across the street, which is where most of the bad activity is taking place.
In the meeting, the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse says that they're hoping to send out some crews right here to this area to get to the root of the problem. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Question here, how do you divide $3.2 billion?
With a B.
Metro Council is debating that very question right now. Some council members have direct requests that they want to see in this year's budget. So we're going to tell you some of the new city positions some city leaders want to create.
And a very good morning to you here on your Thursday.
Fires.
7:09 is the time. If you drink water, use the roads, have ever needed a police officer or a firefighter, then the city budget impacts you. I know we talk about it all the time, and you say, well, that isn't really. It does in big ways. Right now, the city of Nashville has $3.2 billion they're trying to divvy up and spend to run their city government over the next year. One Metro Council member wants to use some of that money to hire something called housing navigators. Now, who are they? Well, they would be workers who would go to the eviction court to help those who cannot afford an attorney and are facing evictions. They say this is a major problem that needs to be addressed. They would not be attorneys, just sort of caseworkers.
But the judge can tell you these are what your rights are, but then they send you out in the hallway to try to mediate the situation and you have nobody. But the landlord has a lawyer. So it's like you're talking to a lawyer and you're not one, and you're not really understanding the process. Your emotions are high because you're about to lose your housing. And so the navigator is supposed to be like average Joe person saying, hey, who understands the system, who's like, hey, let's talk about your situation. Here are some resources. Like they actually have a database of different nonprofits that they know of that help with housing.
Now, the entire Metro Council will need to approve the budget by the end of June, all $3.2 billion worth. The awaited launch for the first manned mission of Boeing's Starliner is scheduled to launch from Kennedy Space Flight Center in Florida on Saturday. NASA says there are several backup launch dates in case they have some issues. The first manned mission of the Starliner has already been delayed a few times, including last week because of a helium leak. The astronauts on this trip, including Mount Juliet native and Tennessee Tech alum Butch Wilmore, are set to go to the International Space Station for a full week.
And coming up next in your forecast here back home and across Middle Tennessee, plenty of sunshine right now, but that sunshine replaced by a few storms for your weekend. We'll track them for you.
Steer clear traffic takes us to Vietnam Veterans Boulevard at Gallatin Pike in Hendersonville. A nice drive so far, a couple of delays here and there. We'll give you the rest of your steer clear traffic.
Developing right now, Metro Police are investigating a fire and some kind of a fight that happened at a Nolensville Pike business. We're going to take you there now and show you what we're talking about. This is a clothing store in the 4700 block of Nolensville Pike. You can see it was right in between a Cricket and a salon and barber shop. Police say they got several calls for an assault, but then minutes later started getting more calls for a fire at this same location.
They say when they arrived, they found smoke and flames coming from the bathroom area. Metro Police, though, say they're still searching for the assault suspect. Take a look here at the video showing you some of the clothing there at this store. The fire, by the way, is under investigation.
Right now, Operation Crime and Justice, more crime linked to short-term rentals here in the Mid-State. Metro Police say a 15-year-old got shot at a party on Elliston Place Tuesday night.
Very scary, and police say an 18-year-old woman told detectives she and a group of friends rented an apartment at Elliston 23 in Midtown, that's the area, through a short-term rental company, but the party got out of hand. When more and more people than originally invited arrived, a fight broke out and a 15-year-old boy was shot. Police say he was taken to Vanderbilt in a critical condition. Fox 17 News, we spoke with someone who lives at the apartment complex who says the short-term rentals are the problem.
Half of the building or a third of the building is Airbnb. There's sketchy people walking around. There's parties all the time. Beer cans left around in the hallways.
Just last month, Fox 17 News reported on a 15-year-old who is now behind bars accused in a separate shooting at a birthday party at another short-term rental. And, you know, as we bring you these stories, I think what stands out to us and probably you at home too is just the recurrence of these kinds of shootings involving young people.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, 14, 15 years old. So the question we're asking this morning, it's our question of the day over on Twitter. Is Metro doing enough to regulate short-term rentals where we have seen a lot of crime?
Right now, 84.5% of you all say no. You can still let us know what you think by heading to our Fox Nashville social media accounts. Let's check in now, though, with our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bobus. Another day on tap of low humidity. We'll take it.
Yeah, almost a repeat performance of yesterday in all the great ways. Now, the weekend, we'll add a couple things in here that aren't so nice. The humidity goes up, storm chances creep back into the forecast. But as far as today is concerned, many of us will be in the upper 70s. A little bit below average. The humidity is nowhere to be noticed. The sunshine abundant. Grab the sunglasses. And then whatever you wore yesterday, if you were comfortable, that same type of outfit going to be good for you here later on today. Talking about a very pleasant day when it comes to the dew points. That's always what these numbers are here. The closer these numbers are to the actual air temperature, the more uncomfortable we get. Well, our high temperature up near 80 and dew points in the 50s. It's a place we can get used to. Unfortunately, we only get 1 or 2 more days of that before the humidity does go back up. Feeling a little bit muggy leading into the upcoming weekend. Allergies are also going to be very similar today than yesterday, or to yesterday, when it comes to being in the medium category for trees and also grass pollen. Those are the two things that have been abundant here so far this season. Taking a look, future track gives us a few clouds for the afternoon, but no rain. And then tomorrow, very similar. You'll start off nice and clear, afternoon a few clouds, and then here we hit the brakes going into midnight, tomorrow night into Saturday. Isolated showers and weak thunderstorms do track through. A downpour here or there and a few rumbles of thunder. No real organization to any of these as they move in throughout Saturday morning and afternoon. Many more dry hours than rainy hours. And how do you keep up with the forecast? Well, you can follow along on our X pages. Greg Bobus, WX, the place to go at twitter.com. You can also follow along on Facebook. That's where you can find a post to post your dog of the day. Speaking of dog of the day, we're going to meet that coming up here in a few minutes. And our doggo is cute. Has some accessories for us here this morning. 79 degrees your temperature this afternoon, 84 degrees tomorrow, and we'll hover in the low 80s with those very much so hit and miss showers and isolated storms for the weekend.
Steer clear traffic gets us out to I-40 at Donaldson Pike. This is very close to B&A. You can see the traffic moving along out there despite the fact that the traffic is starting to increase with the amount of people on the road. Not seeing serious slowdowns. We're doing okay out there at the exit there for Nashville International Airport if you've got that flight this morning or picking someone up. Here's 24 at Old Hickory Boulevard coming in from Antioch this morning. A bit of a slowdown here, but this is just congestion as you get out there on the road. The biggest slowdown we're facing is that drive coming down from Clarksville. That's where we've got the real problems this morning. Huge slowdowns around the Whites Creek Pike exit there, exit 35. We're going to give you more details about that coming up in a few.
Justin, thank you. Just about 7:19, and right now, Fox 17 News, we are getting some more breaking news updates about someone being stabbed outside of a WeGo station. So we're showing you a live look. You can see police officers on the scene blocking off this area. This is 12th Avenue South, Edge Hill Avenue.
Live there now. We do understand that one person has been injured. It happened within about the last hour and a half. And we've got Metro Police here on the scene, and we've got traffic blocked in 2 lanes going both directions. And we understand that police do have somebody in custody. We're working to get more information. Our photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey is there, along with our reporters. They are working to get details behind the scenes. And just as soon as we get those updates for you, we'll bring another live report. We are your live local news source that can do this for you through 9 a.m.
After the break, we're also following breaking news concerning Ticketmaster. So many of us have Ticketmaster accounts. Well, they're now dealing with a hacking scenario. Yeah, we're going to break down the story and what you need to know.
Thursday, rapper Dougie Fresh. Cherry's fresh and all new.
It feels so good just to have energy.
I'm here.
Cherry, today at 10 on Fox 17.
Wing a club, make a difference, and join us at the 615 Golf Open, benefiting Souls for Souls, June 20th at the Hermitage Golf Course.
Golf, music, fun, and a great cause. We'll be out golfing with some of your favorite local celebrities.
Join us for the 615 Golf Open,
sponsored by Fox 17.
They say you can't have it easy, fast, and good. At Crystal, we say you can have it all. Get 2 delicious Crystals, a small fry, and a small drink for only $4.99. Easy, fast, and oh so good. Only at Crystal for a limited time.
Some people just know that the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate. Because there are people out there who aren't you. A lot of them. And you don't drive like, whoa.
I don't want my child being raised by a robot.
Other drivers are not you.
Yes, thank you so much to all 50 of my subscribers.
Nope, definitely not you. Save with DriveWise and get a rate based on you. Call or visit allstate.com for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Lowe's knows new projects come with questions.
So we have answers.
Like how to keep your yard looking lush. Which paint color matches your bold style. And with the My Lowe's Rewards credit card, you can save 5% every day. You got this, and we got you.
Home Goods, go finding.
Due to an incredible response, we are continuing our Memorial Day mattress sale through 5 p.m. Sunday. Save up to $800 on Stearns & Foster mattress sets and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic mattress sets. Plus, get a $300 Sprints gift card and 4 years no interest with any Stearns & Foster or Tempur-Pedic purchase. Also, save up to $500 on Sealy Posturepedic firm or hybrid mattress sets. It ends 5 p.m. Sunday at Sprints. Surround yourself with things you love.
These days, breakfast is spendy. At Crystal, we ain't buying it. Get a tasty breakfast without busting your budget, like a fresh cracked egg on a steamy bun or a crispy golden chicken breast on a flaky biscuit. Get 2 select breakfast biscuits or sandwiches for only $4.99 for a limited time.
Right now, we are covering breaking news that could impact you. It involves Ticketmaster. A dark web group claims to have hacked hundreds of millions of customer details from Ticketmaster and Live Nation. Now, according to the BBC, the group is trying to sell the information for $500,000 on the dark web. It's not good. They do say this includes 1.3 terabytes of customer data. The BBC says the hackers gained access to the names, addresses, phone numbers, and the partial payment details of 560 million Ticketmaster customers around the world. Ticketmaster, though, has not yet confirmed whether they have experienced a security breach. Much more breaking news details with this Ticketmaster hacking incident. Also breaking, though, this Thursday morning, the FAA is now investigating another near miss at Washington's Reagan National Airport. Yesterday, American Airlines flight bound for Boston was forced to, just cancel takeoff for almost crashing into another plane. The plane went back to the gate for inspection. It eventually, though, made it to Boston just 4 hours late. By the way, this is the second near miss at Reagan in 6 weeks. Last month, 2 planes nearly crashed as they crossed over the same runway.
Wow. All right. Operation Crime and Justice. A man has been arrested after police say he hit a mother and her toddler in his car. This all happened on Nolensville Pike.
Metro Police confirmed 27-year-old Mario Alonso was speeding when his car went out of control, hitting a 23-year-old woman and her 2-year-old while she was walking him in a stroller, as Justin mentioned, on Nolensville Pike. Police say they found beer bottles in his car.
Alonso is being charged with vehicular assault as well as open container violations. More charges could be coming.
7:24. Let's meet our dog of the day. Comes with an accessory. This is Dubby here with Werner Fascinator here this morning. Honestly, any way to beat the sun this morning is a good way to go about it. Thank you, Renee, for sending in this picture here. And you can always send us your dogs of the day photos. And also taking a look at the dog walking forecast. 1, 2, 3, and let's walk. Take a look here, 62 degrees at 8 o'clock, 68 degrees at 9, lower 70s by 10, no humidity. Pollen very similar to yesterday, so if you go through, maybe a park here or there for the dog walk, and that kind of pollen can get to you a little bit. Keep that in mind. Send us your dog of the day, though, by going to Facebook, meteorologist Greg Bobus. You find that post, you send it here, you get it right here every day. Now, the only time we don't show dogs of the day or do curious questions in the morning when it comes to weather is going to be on the days we're code red. So whenever you see a dog of the day, you know we're good to go for the entire day or two ahead of us. Right now, current temperatures have dipped right near 60 in the Nashville area. You go down toward the south, though, and we're already seeing temperatures picking back up. That air moves our way for the upcoming weekend. Speaking of getting into the air, what are we doing with at the airport here this morning? 68 degrees at 9 o'clock, 78 degrees at noon, and 80 degrees out at BNA. Weather should not impact your flights here locally, but as always, got to check the location you're going to and make sure that they're looking good in their direction as well.
Steer clear traffic gets us out to I-24 at Old Hickory Boulevard. This is in the Antioch area, Cane Ridge, out there in that area. We're doing okay. A bit of a slowdown there because of congestion getting on the road. Still well over an hour coming down from Murfreesboro into Nashville this morning. It's typical for this time of the day, but no major crashes to slow you up. Cannot say the same coming down from Clarksville. That's where we are dealing with a major crash right there at exit 35 for Highway 431 there. As you make that drive down, this is going to be the Whites Creek Pike area. The area has been tied up throughout the morning with stop and go traffic right now, about an hour and 12 minutes from Clarksville into downtown. You could try to take Highway 41 to steer clear, but in all honesty, it's blocked up too with problems of its own.
Promotional consideration for this program provided by Ponce Law.
Fox 17 News and Ponce Law have been teaming up for years now to every month find and award a local hometown hero $1,000. It really has been our joy and our privilege to introduce you to all these awesome people just doing great things in their own communities.
So if you know someone who you believe could be a hometown hero, we are inviting you to share their story. You can do so by going online, poncelaw.com/hometown hero, right there, and leave a short description of what that hero is doing for the community. And you never know, they could be featured right here on Fox 17 News.
Promotional consideration for this program provided by Ponce Law.
North Nashville community members sounding the alarm at one intersection in particular, calling it a public safety crisis. What they're doing now to address crime in this area.
Fox 17 News is also watching your steer clear traffic around the area. 24 at Old Hickory.
News this morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Thursday morning, a whistleblower targeting Metro Police, causing unrest for the future of Nashville's Community Review Board.
Waking this morning here to plenty of sunshine. Do not worry about today's forecast. We'll put together all the good parts of it, but work you through a few inconveniences for your upcoming weekend as well.
Steer clear traffic is I-40 at Fessler's Lane just east of downtown. Traffic starting to bunch up just a bit. We'll tell you the best ways to steer clear.
All right, fellas, thanks so much. And thank you for joining us for Fox 17 News this morning. Glad you're here. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. Fox 17 News, quick reminder here, your only local news source from 7 to 9. And we do want to get right on over to our breaking news this half hour. Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse is joining us live at the WeGo station, where police say, Peyton, someone was stabbed.
That's right, Erica. So we don't know much about the victim, but police say that he's a male. He was sent to Vanderbilt University Medical Center. There was a stabbing. We're not exactly too sure what caused or what led up to the stabbing, and police, they're not giving us much details right now, but they have started to clear up this scene. And earlier on 12th Avenue South and Edgehill Ave, right here, it was blocked off, but things are clearing up. And as we get more information from police, we'll be sure to bring this over to you guys. And if you want to head over to our website at fox17.com, we have done extensive coverage on some of the crimes that we've been seeing at WeGo bus stops. And as the morning goes on and when people start getting into work, I'll be sure to reach out to WeGo and kind of ask them if there's any plan to make these bus stops safer. Reporting live in Nashville, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Peyton, thanks so much for that breaking news update. We'll check back in our next half hour. Meanwhile, we have an update as we now know the names of the victims after 2 people were killed in Laverne Tuesday.
It happened at an apartment complex off Murfreesboro Road. Mapping it out for you right here on your screen. Metro Police identified the 2 victims as Ramon Delgado Jr. and Aaron Smith. They say 2 adults and 2 17-year-olds are now charged in the deadly shooting. One of the teenagers, though, is charged with murder. The other 3 suspects are charged with making a false report. This investigation, though, is ongoing. At 7:32, just want to say good morning, Greg. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday indeed, and good morning to you too. It's just a barbecue alert kind of a day. I've been talking about it all week long to get out there at some point in the day and do something just to enjoy this weather, because it's uncharacteristic that we get temperatures in the upper 70s and low humidity as we lead into June going into this upcoming weekend. 79 degrees at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock will be at 78, and then 7 p.m. will be at 75. So really nice evening. We're starting off right now, right side of your screen. Temperatures have made it into the 50s to right near 60 degrees, and we will stop just shy of the 80-degree mark for most of us. And then maybe after you're done cleaning up the grill, want to lay back and just lounge a little bit. Enjoy a good fire this evening. 78 degrees at 6 p.m. But look at how quickly we do drop. It really is a good bonfire night. 72 degrees by 8 o'clock, and then 60s take us there by about 10 o'clock. And then we continue to fall back into the 50s again. Overnight tonight, 55 degrees. Tomorrow, 84, a little bit warmer, a little more humidity going into Saturday and Sunday. And showers begin to pop back up on Doppler radar Friday night into Saturday morning. They'll be very hit and miss for both days of the weekend and get a little more scattered in nature. So a little more coverage on the radar for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And that's when the nighttime temperatures sneak back into the mid to upper 60s to near 70 to kick off next week.
Steer clear traffic gets us out to I-40 at Fessler's Lane. This is just east of downtown. Things are bunched up over there just a little bit, but you can't get by. No major crashes out there to talk about. This is just congestion as far as we can tell. Coming in from the East Nashville area, coming in from Donaldson, Hermitage, eventually all of that out there this morning. We're doing okay. Here's a look at Ellington Parkway, Cleveland Street. This is just east of downtown Nashville. It was really congested here a few seconds ago. Whatever it is that was holding it up, though, has moved it out of the way, so you're in much better shape. This is a good way to avoid backups on I-65 as you come in from the north side.
All right, Justin, thank you. Now to continuing coverage. A retired police lieutenant says ranking officers within the Metro Police Department worked behind the scenes to get a state law passed to weaken police oversight boards.
All right, so Fox 17 News continuing to dig into this story. Metro's Community Review Board vets citizen complaints about officers. But the new state law diminished the review board's power last summer. So now we have a previous officer inside of Metro PD's Internal Affairs Unit who claims 2 high-ranking Metro Police supervisors helped to get that law passed and that the chief of police knew about it. And this so-called whistleblower says this is a conflict of interest. The review board says those 2 high-level officers named in the document are supposed to be part of their upcoming negotiations with the Metro Police Chief and the mayor.
Now, with this information, that I don't think we could negotiate anything in good faith.
The review board called on the mayor for an official third-party investigation into all the allegations. The mayor's office sending Fox 17 News a statement saying it's now evaluating the best path forward. A lot more updates to come.
And at 7:35 right now, Nashville airport managers are offering a big incentive to get the road construction project at Donaldson Pike completed early. Now, this is a story that we have been documenting for months over by the airport. They're promising now a $6 million bonus if the contractor can finish the job a year ahead of schedule.
$6 million? I'll get it done. Superior Construction is installing new lanes for Donaldson Pike in the airport area and then building new entrance and exit ramps off I-40. It's slated for completion in 2027. $6 million to finish early. Would you get it done?
Ooh, I think I'd get on it. That's for sure. 7:36 now. Breaking news concerning Boeing. What's in store in keeping planes safe after manufacturing problems, and of course, how that could impact us here at home.
And 7:39 is the time, and right now we have some more breaking news this Thursday morning. Boeing's deadline to send a safety report to federal regulators is today. The Federal Aviation Administration says Boeing's 90 days are up to report its plans to fix manufacturing problems that we've talked about in the past. This requirement comes after one of its planes had a fuselage panel issue during an Alaska Airlines flight in January. It was very hectic, scary. Investigators discovered the bolts that had kept the panel in place were missing before the piece ultimately came off.
Right now, Metro Police say a felon is charged with murder in connection to a deadly shooting that happened last fall, but we're now looking at the arrest of McKelvius Featherstrom, just arrested yesterday, charged with first-degree murder.
Officers say that Featherstrom shot and killed Anthony Barksdale. That happened back in November. Happened at an apartment complex there in Hermitage. Featherstrom does have previous convictions for aggravated burglary as well as the evading arrest. That's out of Rutherford County. He also is looking at pending assault charges here in Nashville.
Good morning. Time right now is 7:40. Taking a look at your forecast, and maybe I do a little bit of gardening here. This is that time of the week where we've been a good 3-4 days without any rain in most spots. So getting back to watering, a good idea. Temperature's going to be at 68 degrees at 9 o'clock, noon 78, and then 3 p.m. 80. Low humidity, not a problem out there. But the question is when to water, because you don't want to pick the peak heating of the day or the time when the sun is at its strongest, because adding the water to the soil can actually hurt the plants more than being helpful. So I would say right now, for the next hour or two, you're okay, or wait until that hour or two right before sunset. Sunset for us later today is going to be right around 8 o'clock. Right now, we're sitting at 60 degrees. That sun is already starting to warm us up. We started in the low to middle 50s about 2-3 hours ago. So temperatures are on the up and up. The humidity down for now. We're going to look at pollen counts when the humidity rises, and we'll take a look at future track and see when the storms and showers do return to the forecast heading into the weekend.
Still clear traffic at 741, just to be clear. This is going to be I-40 at Spence Lane, just east of downtown. We were watching sort of a rolling blockade here a short time ago from TDOT, who was rolling along, stopping the traffic going outbound for some reason. Unsure what they were looking for, but they have moved out of the way now. You're in much better shape making that drive in from the east side. Here's I-40 at Fessler's Lane, also coming in from that east side. Congestion is the name of the game this morning. No major accidents out there right now. You can always take Ellington Parkway to steer clear from the north side. Elm Hill Pike and Lebanon Pike are good ways to steer clear coming in from the east.
New information shows chronic homelessness is up in Nashville. Why the Office of Homeless Services says this is not representative of the truth.
Plus, Fox 17 News.
Free play.
Well, this morning in the high cost of homelessness, we're taking a much closer look at the data from the Office of Homeless Services that shows a more than 40% increase in chronic homelessness.
Our Fox 17 News investigator Amanda Chin sat down with the Director of Homeless Services after asking her about these numbers. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, guys. Well, as Nashville continues to grow, the challenges to address homelessness increase. Data that shows an increase in chronic homelessness may cause some to take pause, but city leaders don't think so. Now, according to data from the Office of Homeless Services, more than 860 people experienced chronic homelessness in April of 2023. This April, data shows more than 1,500 people were experiencing chronic homelessness here in Nashville. That shows a more than 40% increase. Now, this comes as the city invested $50 million to address homelessness 2 years ago, Nashville's largest investment. But the director of the Office of Homeless Services says this increase isn't what it seems because it takes time to establish a baseline number.
Increased unsheltered activity. So that means we have increased data entry from outreach workers, from our team, from other service providers, meaning people have been outside 5 to 10 years. That does not sound like new homelessness or new chronic homelessness to me. Second, you're going to see more changes because we are incentivizing and paying for the Nashville Rescue Mission to enter their data into our database. And for over 10 years, that data has never been entered into our database.
Now, coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, you'll see more of my sit down with the Director of Homeless Services, including a more detailed understanding of this data. But for now, reporting live in the studio, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Amanda, thank you. A North Nashville community is calling for more to be done by city and state leaders to address the continuous crime around the intersection of Buchanan Street and Dr. D.B. Todd Jr. Boulevard.
And our reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live at that intersection right now to talk about the biggest concerns.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. The advocates of this neighborhood say that they want all the crime to stop, holding a community meeting imploring that more be done, as you mentioned, and they fear that this is a growing problem here in this area that is impacting businesses and those who live and come by here. Now, this intersection right here, you might have driven past it, and you most likely have seen loitering and people who are dealing with substance abuse issues, even drug dealers stopping by. In a community meeting, the one that I mentioned, Commander Anthony McLean says loitering attracts those drug dealers and those with substance abuse issues. He also says the reasons why drug dealers come to the area is they have a clientele base where all they have to do is sit on the corner and clients come to them. Police and State Representative Bob Freeman were also a part of that meeting, and they say police can't just move the problem from one spot to another. There needs to be a long-term solution. Listen.
The biggest problem in the neighborhood is the abandoned property across the street, which is where most of the bad activity is taking place.
In the meeting, the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse says that they are hoping and planning to send crews out here to this area to hopefully get to the root of the problem. Reporting here in North Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, anyone who's going to be golfing today, Greg has a really good golf forecast. I see you behind you.
Oh, it's fantastic. But it's one of those days, I mean, I don't golf as much as I used to, but when I would golf, I kind of liked when the weather wasn't perfect because it gave me an excuse.
No excuses.
There's no excuses to that.
Get it done, Greg.
So if the golf game's not good, it's just user error. I mean, there's no wind. We have no humidity. We've got nothing other than just some sunshine. So I guess maybe if you're teeing off into the sun, that could be your excuse today. But otherwise, weather is not going to cause us any problems. 68 degrees for morning tee times at 9 a.m., 78 degrees at noon, and 80 degrees at 3 o'clock. It's sun from start to finish. That means all the way through 8 p.m. when we have our sunset. Pollen counts are up just a touch, so if you are out on the golf course here for a long amount of time and you are an allergy sufferer, you're going to notice it a little bit more hour by hour going in toward the afternoon. And tomorrow, very similar to today. Now, we are not nearly as bad as we were a few weeks ago, but grass and tree pollens are both still going to be noticeable. That'll be very similar here when you're mowing the lawn. You know, you churn everything up. That's how it's going to be. Today and tomorrow, though, you want to get it done before the humidity comes back for the weekend and also before the rain returns Friday night into Saturday. It's not going to rain all day Saturday, but there'll be hit and miss showers and weak storms that could get in your way if you only have a little window of opportunity. So the next 48 looking better than the weekend for sure. Taking a look at your 7-day forecast, temperatures going to cooperate again, very similar to yesterday, upper 70s to right near 80. Tonight will be in the 50s. You're waking up right now. Temperatures on the right side of your screen are in the 50s to right near 60 on the way to that 79-degree mark.
Still clear traffic at I-24 at Bell Road, and this is that drive coming in from Antioch. You can see there traffic a bit slow as you make that drive in from Antioch. Hopefully you can't get through. Just know this is going to be part of your drive, okay? There's no accidents out there. This is just part of it, making that drive in from Smyrna, Laverne, Antioch and beyond, so heads up on that. Here we go, I-40 at Spence Lane, just east of downtown. Make sure you're wearing the sunglasses if you're these folks going in to the east here, coming back in from Mount Juliet and Donaldson. You're doing okay. Just know things slow down the closer you get to downtown.
All right, cue the music. Talking about sports, the Titans wide receiver room got one of the biggest makeovers this offseason yesterday as head coach Brian Callahan added several big names to the roster.
We have our Fox 17 sports director Jill Jelnick to break it all down with more on the new wide receiver core group and how they're building chemistry.
Tennessee Titans done with the installation part of their new offense, and new wide receiver Calvin Ridley says he already loves this new system, especially because of the amount of passing that is involved with head coach Brian Callahan's new offense. Ridley also noting that this is a wide receiver room with a lot of potential. Of course, he brings years of experience to the table, but also Tyler Boyd signing with the Titans this offseason and DeAndre Hopkins returning for a second year as well. Ridley saying that this is a talented group and they're putting in the work right now during OTAs.
Feel good. It looks like we're going to be throwing it pretty good. I love to get the ball. Love the way they're using me so far. Moving around pretty good. Yeah, we got all of it in so far. You know, we got to run through it a couple more times, but I feel like we're gelling pretty good this far in.
He's everything that you would expect him to be. He's a great pro. He's a phenomenal person to be around. He's incredibly talented. You see his speed and his burst when you watch him on the field. I think he's really going to help us, and he's a pro's pro.
Titans third-year wideout Traylon Burks enters a crucial year with the team after battling injuries his first 2 seasons. He says a year under his belt gives him more confidence, and he's also enjoyed the veteran presence of Tyler Boyd and Calvin Ridley.
You would think with everybody being like #1 receivers in the room, there would be confusion, arguing. No, it's not like that. It's big brotherhood. We have fun, we laugh, we joke. When we get on the field, we know it's work. And you know, when somebody messes up on a route or can critique a route, when we come back to the huddle, you know, one of us is there to, you know, do that. And, you know, that's what you want in a receiver room because it brings a lot of confidence and, you know, we just have fun with it.
Titans wrapping up OTAs this week, and then it's mandatory minicamp next week. Head coach Brian Callahan saying the biggest difference next week will be, one, that it's mandatory for the team, but also they'll have more freedom with time and more freedom with what they can do, including 7-on-7 drills. Reporting from the Titans practice facility, Jill Jolnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Jill, thanks so much. Still ahead on Fox 17 News this morning. Middle Tennessee State University has a new program.
Save big at MatthewsNissan.com.
Right now, we're going to show you a live look from New York City right outside of the courtroom. This is where former President Donald Trump's hush money trial is happening. We talked about earlier how yesterday the panel of 12 New Yorkers, they deliberated for about an hour and a half, or 4.5 hours, I should say, after receiving jury instructions. So we are standing by for any more updates. Again, a live look over in New York City this Thursday morning.
Back here at home, we have some sports headlines. The Nashville Sounds tally 14 hits as they beat the Memphis Redbirds 9-4 last night. I don't think they liked getting shut out the night before. They came back with a vengeance. They scored 4 runs in the first inning, and then by the 5th, Nashville's power hitters brought the score up 9-3. Memphis notched one more, but Nashville held on for the win with Isaac Collins and Tyler Black leading the charge with 3 hits each. So the series continues in Memphis. First pitch scheduled for 7:05 tonight. Next week, the Sounds come back here to Nashville. They'll have a homestand right in the middle of CMA Fest.
So it's going to be very busy over there, especially. Happening now, MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University, is putting their money where their mouth is. It's all in an attempt to address the statewide teacher shortage. So they just enrolled 3 new students in what they call their SCORE program. Take a look at this photo. These students are going to train at the College of Education for free. In return, they will then agree to teach in their local communities. A great trade. 25 students are signed up for the Tennessee Teach Back initiative that begins this fall.
7:58 and taking a look at the forecast leading our way toward the weekend. Right now we have nothing to worry about. We have sunshine and temperatures in the 50s and low 60s, but the weekend itself will get a little bit warmer, but we'll also bring in our next chance for a few showers and storms. 83 degrees on Saturday, 80 on Sunday, and then 60s overnight. So the humidity and also warmer nights come back with that chance for a few showers and storms. Let's take a look here at future track and time it all out. Today, just a couple of clouds, no rain. And tomorrow, just a few clouds and no rain as well. I'm going to stop us here midnight, overnight, Friday into into Saturday morning. That's our next chance for some showers. Now, they're going to move in very weakly here as a system dies down from west to east and tracks through overnight. Nothing to worry about. We're not going to be waking up to anything that's not just maybe a weak rumble of thunder. No severe weather. Here's the morning hours of Saturday. Very hit and miss dotting the radar. Kind of one of those put the map of Middle Tennessee up and just toss a dart at it, and you may or may not hit a spot that does get a shower. And same thing for the afternoon. Here's 5 p.m. Weak showers and thunderstorms that will track through most of the day on Saturday, and Sunday will look just like that and be mainly on the drier side.
Still clear traffic at 65 at Trinity Lane there on the north side. Now we are doing just okay. Not great, not incredible, okay. That's all we can ask for at 8 o'clock in the morning from that north side. We're going to continue to follow things and let you know about any major times. But right now, as of right now, we're doing okay with no major accidents.
Good news, Justin. Thank you. Trending now over on our website, fox17.com. Several stories that you have been reading a lot. We've got the top story that we're about to dive into in our 8 o'clock hour. And the top trending story is the 13-year-old boy who was killed overnight at the Red Caboose Park in Nashville. That's Bellevue specifically. We've got the 13-year-old who died and an older sister who is in the hospital. So again, that's going to be our top stories we get into our 8 o'clock hour. We'll get to that here right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News, we are getting breaking news updates from overnight. A deadly shooting claiming the life of a 13-year-old at the Red Caboose Park in Bellevue. The very latest update.
Forecast starting off very nice here this morning. We have 48 hours until the rain returns. How much we can see by the end of the weekend coming up in your forecast.
And still clear traffic on the north side of town. A slow go on 65 at the 24 junction. We'll give you the latest drive times we've got coming up in a few.
All right, plenty to get to, but we do want to start by saying thank you for waking up with us here on a Thursday morning. For Fox 17 News, I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We are your live local news source through 9 a.m. And before we get to all of our big stories of the morning, we start with breaking news. This hour, we have our crews in Nashville where we have reports of a stabbing at a WeGo bus station. Fox 17 News reporter Peyton Hughes joining us live there now.
Yeah, good morning, Jen. Now, this is the third violent attack at a WeGo bus stop that we've reported on. And, you know, Metro Police, they tell us that this morning a man was stabbed. He was sent to Vanderbilt University Medical Center. The suspect is in custody. We don't know their names yet. We don't know their ages, but this is right here off of 12th Avenue South and Edge Hill Avenue, and this is cleared now. The scene was blocked off earlier this morning, and we've done reports on a lot of the crimes that we've seen at Metro's WeGo bus stops, and just last week, the president, or the CEO, Steve Bland, said that the time of all of these incidents, they're serious, it's disturbing, and he says it's unusual. So again, it is about 8 o'clock this morning. Most people are not in work at this hour, but as soon as it hits around 9, I'm going to reach out to WeGo and the mayor and ask them if there's any plans on addressing some of the crimes that we're seeing at these bus stations, especially since there's been a push for public transit. So we'll keep you updated and let you know what the mayor and WeGo has to say about this. Reporting live in Nashville, Peyton Hughes, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Peyton, thank you. We'll certainly be looking out for another update. Also developing this morning, we now know the names of the suspect and one of the victims in last night's shooting in Bellevue at a popular park where a lot of little kids and families go. It left a 13-year-old boy dead and his sister hurt.
Happening right around 8 o'clock last night, so the sun had just set, and it all started because of a fight. This was in the parking lot of the Red Caboose Park. And during the fight, police say that somebody pulled out a gun and a brother and a sister both got shot. The 13-year-old brother went to the hospital where he died. His sister injured and recovering, but that 13-year-old boy's name is Aiden Hayes. Police say his 16-year-old sister is expected to be okay. And we do have someone in custody this morning.
Yeah, police say the 15-year-old suspect, D'Anthony Osei Sosifio, is now in custody. Police say he was found walking along Highway 70 half a mile from the park, and police shared a photo saying that an ATF dog found the gun along with the suspect's path. He is being charged with criminal homicide and attempted criminal homicide.
Taking a look at what is brand new for us here this morning in the forecast, the things to know before you get going and complete your Thursday and get one step closer to the weekend. What is new? Well, we're cooler in some spots. We woke up in the 40s in the Cumberland Plateau. Now we're in the 50s in that area, and we're talking just right around 60 degrees in Nashville. Current temperatures are always going to be on the right side of your screen all the way through 9 o'clock every morning, even during commercial breaks. 2 more dry days ahead of us, so you can leave the umbrella at home today and for your Friday, but some isolated weekend storms do move in. Not to the point to where I'm worried about severe weather, so we're still all clear for code red. And we are all clear right now outside. Barely a cloud in the sky. Grab the sunglasses as you're heading out, and maybe you're going for a bike ride here today. Comfortable with the low humidity. We'll hit right around 80 degrees in the middle of the afternoon, but most of our day will be in the mid to upper 70s, starting here in about 2 hours or so, all the way through sunset. And then maybe when you're done for the bike ride, you want to cool off just a touch. Pool forecast puts us to 78 degrees at 2, 80 degrees at 5 p.m. The UV index looking to be pretty high today. Make sure we're using multiple rounds of sunscreen.
Steer clear traffic will get us out and about here this morning to Bradley Parkway at I-24. That's coming in from Antioch this morning. We again are dealing with congestion in that area. Not a lot of accidents out there. We've been looking. We've run into a few things here and there. Maybe something downtown that's just developed a short time ago. We'll try to get to that. But here's 24 at Bradley Parkway right now. Making that drive in from Antioch. We're doing okay. Overall drive times, I want to point your attention to several areas here. Clarksville coming in at 70 minutes from Montgomery County. You've been dealing with stop and go there for hours because of a crash near mile marker 35. 61 minutes, just over an hour coming in from Murfreesboro. Still a slow go from Mount Juliet. 44 minutes, a little slower than normal coming in from the east side.
Well, new this morning, there is a North Nashville community calling for more to be done by city and state leaders to address the continuous crime around the intersection of Buchanan Street and Dr. D.B. Todd Jr. Boulevard. We were there just yesterday giving a live look.
It's gotten so bad. People say this is a crisis on the corner, and that's where we find Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar joining us live this morning.
Good morning. Neighborhood advocates say that this area right by the intersection you just mentioned has drug dealers and substance abuse, and that police, we previously reported that they've been called more than 1,000 crimes. That liquor store to my right, Northwest Liquors and Market, in the past year alone for crimes. But that's not the only business that has been impacted by the crime. We've heard from multiple businesses during a community meeting that is saying the same thing. The high crime had neighborhood advocates hold a virtual meeting with community stakeholders, calling it a public safety crisis. In the meeting, Commander Anthony McLean says loitering attracts drug dealers and substance abuse. He also says the reason why drug dealers come to the area is because they have a clientele base where all they have to do is sit on the corner and the clients come to them. Adam Dredd, the attorney for the Northwest Liquor Store and Market that is sick of the crime, outlines what he believes is the biggest problem.
The biggest problem in the neighborhood is the abandoned property across the street, which is where most of the bad activity is taking place.
In the meeting, the Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse says that they are hoping to get some crews out here to this area to address the root of the problem. Reporting live here in North Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Karen, thank you. How do you divide $3.2 billion? Metro Council is debating that question right now.
We have council members that have a direct request that they want to see in this year's budget. And we're going to tell you some of the new city positions that city leaders want to create.
And Fox 17 News taking a live look of the Nashville skyline, as well as some of our steer clear traffic maps, areas you need to steer clear of, and how to save time before heading out the door. Stay with us.
I can see your voice!
Tonight at 7 on Fox 17.
Fox 17 News at 9, Nashville's only primetime newscast, alerting you to breaking news.
Breaking news coverage tonight.
Protecting you with Code Red weather alerts.
Strong to severe thunderstorms.
Empowering you with information.
Citizens feel it's an aggressive money grab.
Get your local news 1 hour early. Watch Fox 17 News at 9. Alerts, empowers, protects.
Ponce Law, working with engineers at Roadproof, have developed a network connecting us to traffic cameras in Middle Tennessee, often giving us the video proof needed to win your case. So if you've been injured, call Ponce Law today.
It's Mower Mania at the Mint Gaming Hall Kentucky Downs. Win a 42-inch zero-turn John Deere lawnmower. Drawings are every Friday night. Plus, check out all our newest games. You won't want to miss Mower Mania. Only at the Mint Gaming Hall Kentucky Downs.
New season, new look. Get it with savings up to 20% off store-wide during the Memorial Day sale at American Signature Furniture. Right now, the more you buy, the more you save. Up to 20% off living, dining, bedroom, and more. Or enjoy 50 months no-interest financing and no down payment. And up to 30% off best-selling doorbusters. We think it's amazing, too. Get to our Memorial Day sale going on now, only at American Signature Furniture.
At TJ Maxx, you can afford to turn your closet into a place of endless expression with the quality, styles, and prices you love. Max what makes you, you.
Truck crash, before you even know what's happening, the truck company sends their insurance people, their crash experts, and their lawyers right to the scene, and none of them are there for you. But we are the minute you call. After your truck crash, call Ponce Law.
Fox 17 News, your Code Red weather station.
8:10 is the time. If you drink water, use the roads, ever needed a police officer, a firefighter, then yes, you need city services. All of that comes under the city budget that we speak of all the time here on Fox 17 News. Right now, the city of Nashville is trying to figure out how they're going to spend $3.2 billion. Now, several Metro Council members have their own pet projects that they want to see. Some want to fund the fire department. Others want to give more help to mental health services. But there's also a group that wants to spend $20,000 for Metro's pet population for spay and neuter services. City leaders say this is something that people ask them to do all the time, and it even affects one council member personally.
I think it's a step in the right direction. Really, the ultimate fix comes when we build the new MAC facility that Director Harrington has been asking for, and we have finally put $500,000 towards in the CSP for the design of the building. This gets us one step forward, but also a way to be able to tell constituents we heard you and we're actually trying to make an effort.
I've become known to friends and family as the cat guy, and every kitten season, every summer I get called like, hey, I have found 18 kittens. Would you like them? No, I would not. But you found a cat in your car? I found a cat in my car. I get cats dropped off at my house. I get calls about it.
How many full-time cats?
Many. And I would have less if we had more spay-neuter resources in our city.
Jacob Kubin says he's got a lot of cats and he wished he didn't have so many, which is why he wants the spay and neuter to be implemented. City law mandates that Metro Council needs to pass a budget by the end of June. Well, the long-awaited launch for the first manned mission of Boeing's Starliner is scheduled for Saturday. It's going to launch from the Kennedy Space Flight Center there in Florida. Now, NASA says there have been several backup launch dates that have been set just in case they have any issues. The launch of the Starliner has already been delayed a few times, including last week because of a helium leak. Mount Juliet native and Tennessee Tech alum Butch Wilmore are among the astronauts who will be going to the International Space Station for a week.
Coming up in your Code Red forecast, how much longer we can hold on to this comfortable and sunny pattern before we go back to the humidity and thunderstorms that summer brings with it.
Steer clear traffic at I-24 at the Silman-Evans Bridge. Heads up, you see that T-Dot worker sprinting? Unsure what that's about. Okay, something that happening in downtown Nashville. We're going to continue to watch things for you, let you know what we find with Steer Clear Traffic live through now.
Good morning and welcome back into Fox 17 News this morning. Time right now, 8:15. Metro Police investigating a fire and an assault that happened at a Nolensville Pike business. Now, interesting how this all played out. You can see this little business is wedged between the Cricket and a salon and barbershop there near Nolensville and Haywood. When police first got the calls, it was for some kind of a fight, right? An assault at this clothing store where you can see stuff out front. Well, minutes later, they started getting more calls about a fire at this same shop.
Yeah, so they say when they arrived, they found smoke and flames coming from the bathroom. Metro Police, though, are still trying to find out the assault suspect. The cause of the fire is also investigation.
Operation Crime and Justice right now, more crime linked to short-term rentals here in the mid-state as police say a 15-year-old got shot at a party on Elliston Place Tuesday night. And we're starting to get more details about what happened here. According to police, an 18-year-old woman told detectives that she and a group of friends rented an apartment right here at this location you see here on your screen. This is Elliston 23 in Midtown. And they rented this place out through a short-term rental company.
Yeah, they say they were going to be having a glow party, but the party got out of hand when more people than originally invited arrived. That's when a fight broke out and a 15-year-old boy was shot. Police say he was taken to Vanderbilt in critical condition. Fox 17 News, we spoke with a resident at that apartment complex, and he says the short-term rentals are the problem.
Half of the building or a third of the building is Airbnb. There's sketchy people walking around. There's parties all the time. Beer cans left around in the hallways.
Beer cans left around in the hallways. Well, last month, Fox 17 News reported on a 15-year-old now behind bars, accused in a shooting at a birthday party at another short-term rental. To catch up on that reporting, go to fox17.com.
I just hate to hear it. You know, so many cases of crimes involving these young people who aren't even old enough to drive. They're not even old enough to have a license yet.
Yet facing very serious charges.
Man, all right. So we've got a live Twitter poll right now over on Twitter where we asked, is Metro doing enough to regulate short-term rentals? You can find us at the handle Fox Nashville. Right now, 84% of you saying no, Metro is not doing enough. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen. It'll take you to the link for the poll and the question of the day. You can also find us at twitter.com.
Well, if you're looking for some more uplifting stories, we have a very cute, fascinating, we could say, dog of the day. You see what I did there?
When you see the picture,
when you
you'll get
see
it.
the photo, it will all make perfect sense. Let's take a look at our fascinating dog of the day. Very regal. Even the look on Debbie's face is like, yes, I am aware of how great I look. Taking a look here. This photo sent in by Renee. Renee, thank you for sharing this with us here this morning. And if you ever want to share your dogs of the day with us, we'll show you how to momentarily. Now, if we're getting the leash on and we're getting out the door here for Debbie with the fascination and the whole 9 yards, take a look at the dog walking forecast. 68 degrees at 9 o'clock. We'll be back into the 70s pretty quickly here. The next hour and a half or two, we'll get above that 70-degree mark, 76 at 11 and 78 degrees at noon. Mention sharing your photos with us. Very easy to do so. You go to my Facebook page, meteorologist Greg Bobus. You find that photo right there. It's the pinned post at the top of the page, and that's how you share your photo. You can always give us not just the picture, but where you're from, any stories you might want to share about why you love your doggo so much, and you'll see right here on Fox 17 News this morning. Lunchtime forecast. By no means a hot day. Very comfortable. 76 degrees at 11, 78 at noon. Maybe you're fine in a patio, just sitting outside, or just enjoying a walk around the block would even be nice in a day like this. 79 degrees, your temperature at 1, loaded up with sunshine the entire day. Now let's talk moving forward when things begin to change. Humidity goes up into the weekend. Storm chances increase into the weekend. It is not going to be a washout. Make your plans now. Just know you have to have a way to get alerts to your phone when it comes to looking at the Doppler radar. Not severe weather alerts, but watch for incoming showers. There'll be a few that move in after midnight on Friday, then very hit and miss in nature the first few hours of Saturday, and then right around dinner time on Saturday as well. More dry hours than rainy hours for the entire weekend, but also much more humidity.
Steer clear traffic takes us downtown Nashville here. Let's take a look at what we're dealing with at I-24 at the Silman Evans Bridge. This is very close to the Shelby Avenue exit there in downtown next to Nissan Stadium. If you were with us a few moments ago, you saw a TDOT worker running full sprint from the scene. They ran up to get their truck and bring it up closer here. Not sure why they were moving so fast, but that's where that guy was running off to. Police are there as well, dealing with the multi-car crash that's on the shoulder. It is causing small delays there in downtown. You're going to need an extra 10 to 15 minutes to work your way through because they have shut down that outer lane, but you can get by, and as you can see, the exit there is open as well. Much better news on the south side. This is going to be I-65 and Armory Drive there. If you've got an early morning doctor's appointment there at 100 Oaks, like so many people do, you're in good shape getting there. 8:23 is the time here on this Thursday morning. In Operation Crime and Justice, one man is arrested after police say he hit a mother and a toddler with his car in South Nashville.
So the Metro Police tell us the man you see here on your screen is 27-year-old Mario Alonso, and that he was speeding when his car, spun out of control and hit a 23-year-old woman and her 2-year-old while she was walking him in a stroller. This was on Nolensville Pike.
Now, police say they found beer bottles in the suspect's vehicle. Charges right now against Alonso include vehicular assault and open container violations. We'll see if any more charges come forth in this.
And let's jump into your forecast here on your Thursday morning. Temperatures already beginning to climb because the sun is doing its job here for us. It's not going to get terribly warm by any means, but definitely seeing that rising temperature out of the 40s from the Cumberland Plateau this morning. And now we're talking about 50s and 60s across the board. Beautiful blue skies. So what's the wardrobe looking like today? Very similar to yesterday. The first hour or two, you might want a sweater. It is a little bit brisk, honestly, without the humidity out there. And then everything else looking good. You can leave all the rain gear at home. No umbrellas, no raincoats, no rain boots, just whatever you wore yesterday. Very similar style today when it comes to comfort level. You should be okay. Taking a look out the door here on this May 30th. We're only 2 days away from flipping the calendar, and that'll also be when we flip our weather pattern. In the meantime, enjoy more sun. 73 degrees at 10 o'clock, 76 degrees at 11. Grab the sunglasses before you head out, and maybe you're heading to the airport. Temperatures at BNA throughout the day. 68 goes to 78 at noon and 80 degrees at 3 p.m. Weather back home, so here in Nashville, will not be a reason for flight delays. However, depends where you go across the country. Always look at your destination as well and make sure things are looking good at the airport you're headed to. Speaking of our airport, only about 16 flight delays this morning, which given how many flights come in and out of the airport every day, that's pretty good. 66 degrees, your temperature right now at BNA, and not much of a breeze. So really, weather's a non-starter when it comes to giving you any issues. Lunchtime forecast could be a good day to eat outside. 70s go to right near 80 with the humidity down. It's going to feel actually almost cool if you're in the shade for today. There we go. Let's take a look here. If you're teeing off here this morning and toward the afternoon, again, no wind. This is one of the best parts when it comes to that temperature outlook for your golf game today. So it's not going to be messing with your drive. Just know that maybe if it does go left or right, you really can't blame it on the weather this time around. Coming up as we go into your 8:30 half hour, we'll look at future track and begin to time out that big change that does happen on June 1st on Saturday. The big changes will be the humidity increasing and also an increased chance for a few showers and storms.
Steer clear traffic as you get out this morning. Let's take a look here at this situation we're following downtown. This is going to be I-24 at the Silman Evans Bridge in downtown Nashville. This is right at the exit there for Shelby and Nissan Stadium. We do have a crash on the shoulder of the road. Metro Police with a heavy presence with this one. TDOT is also there as well. You can get by, but one lane is a little bit blocked off and one exit is open. The exit is open. You can get off there. Just know it's going to slow things down a little bit. I would give myself an extra 10 to 15 minutes to get through the heart of downtown Nashville at this point. No need to get off and try to work your way around it. It's just more trouble than it's worth. Just give yourself the extra 10 to 15 minutes. You can get by. It's just a little congested as you come from the north side through downtown, trying to get back out towards Donaldson or Antioch in that area. That's where we are with that. Other than that, we're good to go. This is I-40 at Charlotte. Wow, wide open and good from West Nashville.
We have breaking news right now at 8:27. We give you a live look from the campus of Vanderbilt University. This is their live stadium cam showing you the construction underway at the football stadium. This is the area where we have breaking news. Fox 17 News getting confirmation of a gas leak. We understand that in this area of construction, technically between the baseball stadium and the tennis courts, Jess Neely Drive, construction.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning. Another live look back over at the campus of Vanderbilt University. This is their live construction cam showing you progress at the football stadium. But this is the area where we have breaking news right now. Confirmation from Nashville Fire of a gas line that is ruptured in a construction zone. We've got our crews that just arrived. We're going to get a live report in moments.
Sunshine to start off today, but that's going to change going into the weekend. Our next weather maker brings humidity and thunderstorms back into the forecast. We'll time it in a few minutes.
I-24 at the Selman Evans Bridge in downtown dealing with the crash that's causing a slowdown right through the heart of Nashville. We'll tell you the best ways to steer clear.
Thank you so much for joining us here on a Thursday morning, a busy one on Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Glad to be your live local news source. We always have you covered with your breaking news updates through 9 a.m. And here's one for you right now as we go to the campus of Vanderbilt University.
Crews right now are responding to reports of a gas leak at a construction site near the campus. Fox 17 News reporter Karen Aguilar, you just got there to the scene near Jess Neely Drive. Karen, what are you seeing?
So Natchez Trace right here where I'm standing on Vanderbilt's campus has been entirely blocked off, and you can see multiple crews here on scene, including the Nashville Fire Department and potentially a hazmat crew to take care of that issue that we're seeing with the gas leak. And the Nashville Fire Department tells us that there was construction in the area where a gas line has erupted, causing some of the problems that we're seeing here, and it's all hands on deck. I haven't had an opportunity to speak to anyone on scene yet for more information on the circumstances surrounding what happened, but we do know from the Nashville Fire Department that no one has been reported hurt at this time. We're also working to find out what other exits have been blocked and more information. And when we have more information, we'll bring it to you. Reporting live here in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. More breaking news right now. This is from the Edge Hill neighborhood in Nashville, where police say somebody has been stabbed at a WeGo bus stop.
Our Fox 17 News reporter Peyton Muse is live at this location sharing some more updates. And Peyton, you've been out there for about, I would say, an hour or so.
Yeah, Jen and Erica, we've been here for a while, and the good news is that the scene is clear, but unfortunately a man was stabbed. He's at Vanderbilt University Medical Center right now, and the suspect is in custody. And also, it's important to note that this is the third incident in the last week that we've seen regarding violent acts at WeGo, or violent attacks at WeGo bus stops. And the incident this morning happened around 5:30 in the morning. We're still working to get details. We don't know what led up to the altercation, why someone stabbed this man who is now at Vanderbilt, but as soon as we get that information, we'll be sure to bring that to you. And again, I plan on reaching out to the mayor and also WeGo to ask if there's any plans or things put into place considering the 3 violent attacks that we've seen this week. So as soon as we get that information and when we hear back from them, we'll be sure to let you guys know. Reporting live in Nashville, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
8:34, looking at your forecast. The sun in full force for us here, just like yesterday. Another great day to be outside. Counting down to humidity, though. We're only about 48 hours away until that creeps back in, and it brings some showers and storms with it. That rain will return overnight tomorrow night into Saturday. It's not going to be abundant. It'll be very hit and miss and light when it starts, and then a few storms possible late in the day on Saturday. Most of the weekend is going to be dry. Taking a look here at our South Nashville camera, we're looking good. And we're feeling pretty good, too. We'll keep it all clear for Code Red. We are going to track a few thunderstorms that are possible by the end of the weekend. It's not rain all the time, not even close to it. And what we do get won't last long. You'll get the tiny little showers and the tiny little pop-up storms that maybe give you a half hour or an hour worth of rain, and then they get out of town. Taking a look here. Your hour-by-hour temperature goes from the 60s to 78 degrees, about a 10-degree temperature swing in the matter of about 2 or 3 hours, just thanks to all the sun that we have and the lack of cloud cover. We'll be right near 80 degrees for the afternoon high temperature today. Most of us upper 70s to right near the 80-degree mark. 84 degrees tomorrow, 83. Isolated storms, again, a few of those creeping in after midnight going into Saturday morning. And then a few more of those during the evening hours. We'll repeat that pattern going into Sunday as well. Temperature is going to stay right at or above 80 degrees starting tomorrow for everyone straight to the middle of next week.
Steer clear traffic goes to I-24 at the Silman Evans Bridge. This is going to be downtown Nashville. We are dealing with a bit of a slowdown here in this area because of a crash that is happening downtown here. Everything is off to the shoulder. Crews are there dealing with the aftermath of it. It is causing small delays there through the heart of downtown. Let me show it to you here on our maps here exactly what kind of delay we're looking at. Here is where the crash is, right around that's Nissan Stadium right there. And that's where the crash is, right there on the roads. And the backup is going back towards James Robertson Parkway, but not much further than that. That is about where it stops at this point. I would advise giving yourself an extra 10 to 15 minutes to fight through the congestion. After you get past it, it's much better. So no need to get off and work your way around. It would just take forever. This is I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway in the Antioch area. We're doing much better coming in from that particular section of town. We are well under an hour for that trip. Here on your Thursday morning, Metro Police say that a felon is now being charged with murder in connection to a deadly shooting that actually took place last fall there in Hermitage.
Yeah, big follow-up here. Police say Nikelvius Featherston arrested just yesterday, charged with first-degree murder. Officers say Featherston shot and killed Anthony Barksdale back in November at a Hermitage apartment complex. Featherston has previous convictions for aggravated burglary and evading arrest. Those charges from Rutherford County. He also has a pending assault charges right here in Nashville.
Other news this morning, we want to give you an update as we now know the names of the victims of a double homicide that happened on Tuesday that is in Laverne. Now, that happened at an apartment complex just off of Murfreesboro Road. Metro Police have identified the victims as Ramon Delgado and Jr. and Aaron Smith. They say that 2 adults and 2 17-year-olds are being charged in this deadly shooting. One of those teens is being charged with murder. The other suspects are being charged with making a false report. We're told that the investigation is ongoing.
A look at the forecast here at 8:40, and this is a good day to get a car wash. Today and tomorrow are both going to look good for it, and make sure that when you do, you know it's not going to necessarily last you until you get done with the weekend per se, because there'll be a few showers and storms out there, but nothing that's going to be widespread. So if you're parking in the garage, you might have a chance to dodge those periods of some rain. But yes, washing today and tomorrow, both opportune days. 2 more great days ahead of us before that rain does move in. Time for our curious question of the day, and it's food related for you here. McDonald's, this is a true story here, McDonald's once made a bubble gum flavored version of what food? French fries, chicken nuggets, hamburgers, or broccoli? I'll have the answer for you and look at your weekend coming up in just a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic. Let's get you to I-24 at the Silman Evans Bridge. This is downtown Nashville. That is where we continue to deal with the crashes on the shoulder of the road right there at the Shelby Avenue exit for Nissan Stadium. You can get by. The exit is open. The tow truck has now gotten in place there to try to take away the cars affected by this. So hopefully things will start to clear up here a lot sooner rather than later. So let's take a look at the drive times right now. Franklin at 32 minutes. Murfreesboro, boy, you guys are doing great this morning. 55 minutes, already well under an hour coming in from Murfreesboro to downtown. 44 minutes, still a little bit slow coming in from Mount Juliet down I-40.
Crews right now responding to reports of a gas leak at a construction site at the campus of Vanderbilt University, and you can see them working right now. A lot of folks from Piedmont Gas, Nashville Fire in the construction zone. You can see the cranes and all the
Welcome back. Just about 8:45. In the high cost of homelessness, though, we're taking a much deeper dive at the data from the Office of Homelessness Services. They show a more than 40% increase in chronic homelessness.
Our Fox 17 News investigator Amanda Chen has been working on this story. She sat down with the director of Homeless Services after asking her about these numbers because, Amanda, it seemed like on the surface things just weren't adding up.
Right, for sure. And as Nashville continues to get more people, the challenge of addressing homelessness continues to grow. Now, recent data, as we mentioned, shows an apparent increase in chronic homelessness, and it may confuse many, but city leaders view it differently. The largest investment Nashville's ever made to address homelessness. It's a phrase we've been hearing for several years now. How effective do you feel this $50 million investment has been for the city?
I think overall it has been very effective. We have been able to address 4 encampments, housing 189 individuals, whether it's temporary housing options, permanent housing solutions with a 90% success rate.
That means 90% of the folks housed have either remained connected to temporary housing or permanent housing. The funding is specifically meant to address chronic homelessness, those who have not lived in a home for at least a year. However, recent data from the Office of Homeless Services shows there's a more than 40% increase in chronic homelessness. What message would you have for folks who may view these percentage increases and don't fully understand the program and this investment that the city's been putting in?
$50 million over a 3-year time span. That is a lot of money, but it's really a drop in the bucket.
Calvin says with the data, several things have changed since she's been director.
We haven't reached a baseline in our data. Second, you're going to see more changes because we are incentivizing and paying for the Nashville Rescue Mission to enter their data into our database. And for over 10 years, that data has never been entered into our database.
Calvin adds there are more outreach workers at encampments, where folks who have been living outside for more than 5 years are just now getting added to the system. She believes it'll take about 1.5 years to reach a baseline for chronic homelessness. That's when it would be fair game to talk about any increase.
Been able to implement the $50 million that you're talking about, and has it been a success?
Yeah, as you heard in my story, city leaders tell me they believe it has been a big success so far, but the biggest challenge that lies ahead is sustainability once these funds run out. And coming up tonight on Fox 17 News, part 2 of my story will air with more specifics on the $50 million and what it's done so far for the homeless community and where we go from here.
All right, Amanda Chin, thank you so much. Right now at 8:47, let's get into the forecast with our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bobus. Greg, this morning's curious question has been highly entertaining.
And highly out of nowhere, because you would never guess you would make anything on this list bubblegum flavored. But McDonald's tried it. Once they tried to make one of these 4 foods bubblegum flavored. What was it? French fries, chicken nuggets, hamburgers, or broccoli? If you guessed broccoli and you're scratching your head like I did when I saw the answer, you're right. What they did was they tried to doctor a way to make it taste like bubblegum. That way they thought kids would want to eat broccoli that tastes like something you're not supposed to swallow. I don't know. Didn't work. Kids didn't buy it. Taking a look here, though, what you do want to do is fire up the grill later on today if you have the ability to do so. No matter what you're putting on there, you're good to go as far as the forecast goes. Temperature's going to be in the 70s all evening. 79 degrees at 5 o'clock, 78 at 6, and 75 at 7. Loaded up with sunshine right now, and we're going to keep unpacking more sunshine throughout the entire day. Sunset right before 8 p.m. later on this evening. Now, we're not going to keep this dry streak going for too much longer. We have one more day tomorrow where we'll be dry, and then Saturday into Sunday, isolated showers and weak storms. A few of those begin to move in after midnight tomorrow night into Saturday morning. Most of the daylight hours are going to be dry on Saturday, but we will get a push of a few isolated storms in the evening hours of Saturday, then repeat that process on Sunday. Also going to heat it up a little bit more. Not by much, but enough to where when you add in a little more humidity, you'll notice it. We're up near 80 degrees this afternoon, low to middle 80s for Friday into Saturday, and then right near 80 on Sunday.
Steer clear traffic. Let's talk about what's going on downtown Nashville. This is going to be I-24 at the Silman Evans Bridge there, right at the exit for Nissan Stadium. We do have a crash. We've been working there for a little bit on the shoulder of the road. Crews are there to tow those cars away coming up right now. So that crash should be clearing here in the very near future. Let me show you to you here on the map right now. This is going to be through the heart of downtown Nashville right here. This is Nissan Stadium right there. The crash taking its toll in both directions now. Give yourself an extra few minutes. It's going to be out of there soon and no longer a problem. So really, just give yourself extra time there. Another 5-10 minutes, you should be okay. 65 at Moores Lane in Franklin, also looking really nice so far from Williamson County.
Well, right now, Fox 17 News, we are getting some more breaking news updates regarding the gas leak near a construction site near Vanderbilt's campus.
Let's send it out to our Fox 17 News reporter, Karen Aguilar. She's there live.
Good morning. I just spoke with someone who tells me that they were here around the time that gas leak happened, around 7 this morning, and they say that they heard a huge hissing sound and saw a gas line erupt right here behind me near that truck with the flashing lights. He tells me that he had to evacuate as quickly as he could and didn't want to go on camera. But we also managed to speak to a woman from the Vanderbilt Office of Emergency Management who tells me that there were 2 athletic facilities that were impacted. There were people inside those facilities. They were workers. There weren't any students, luckily, and they have been relocated to another area. We also spoke to the Nashville Fire Department earlier, who tells us that this is all because of ongoing construction when that gas line was hit, then erupted. Luckily, at this time, luckily, no one was hurt, and we're working to get more information, and when we have that, we will bring it to you. Reporting here live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Right now, Fox 17 News, we have a breaking news update from Vanderbilt University campus. Now, earlier we talked about a gas leak at this construction site at Jess Neely Drive. Well, we just got updates that this site has now been deemed safe, and that's why you see construction workers who are now heading back to their work.
Right, so we have a lot of folks moving back into this zone. By the way, this is the construction zone that we were showing you from the live Vandy construction camp, where they are essentially rebuilding the football stadium. It's right near the baseball stadium, right across the street from the tennis courts, and the athletic building there. So good news, as Erica mentioned, this looks like it has now wrapped up. Crews are starting to leave. No injuries reported so far. We're going to work to get a few more updates, though, see if there's anything else we can kind of flush out here. And as we get those updates, we'll bring them to you live throughout the day at fox17.com.
And also developing this Thursday morning, we now know the names of the suspect and one of the victims regarding last night's shooting over in Bellevue at a really popular park that left a 13-year-old boy dead and his sister hurt.
This all happening right around 8 o'clock last night at the Red Caboose Park in Bellevue. All because of a fight. During the fight, police say somebody pulled out a gun and a brother and sister both got shot. That 13-year-old brother did go to the hospital where he later died. We understand the 16-year-old sister is recovering. The 13-year-old boy is Aiden Hayes. The sister, as I mentioned, at the hospital, but is expected to be okay.
Police say the 15-year-old suspect, D'Anthony Ososifio, is now in custody. Police say he was found walking along Highway 70 half a mile away from the park in Bellevue, and police also shared this photo, so do take a look. They said an ATF dog found the gun along with the suspect's path. He is being charged with criminal homicide as well as attempted criminal homicide.
Well, one day closer to the weekend, let's get a check of the forecast with Greg. A final look here at conditions with a live look into downtown.
Looking pretty and feeling pretty good out there. Right now we have no humidity, so it almost felt a little cool to kick off the day. We had temperatures in the Cumberland Plateau that were in the 40s this morning. We'll get one more cool night like that. We'll drop down to 55, but that's after another nice day. Pollen counts are right where they were at yesterday, so if allergies were okay for you, you shouldn't have much trouble compared to yesterday. We're up near 80 degrees, 84 degrees tomorrow, and then everything begins to change. Humidity moves in for the weekend. A few isolated showers and weak storms move in after midnight Friday night into Saturday morning. Most of the daytime hours, though, of Saturday are going to be dry. There'll be one little push, one other chance for an isolated shower or weak storm late afternoon toward the evening. We're not forecasting.